Welcome to Baltimore, everybody. Today, it's the Tennessee Oilers against the Baltimore Ravens, the Ravens' final home game of the season. But even more important than that, the final game ever to be played here at Old Memorial Stadium. A nostalgic day topped off by 40 former great Baltimore Colts, led by the great quarterback Johnny U, here to spend the day with these fine football fans of Baltimore. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Donovan, along with James Lofton. Johnny Unitas is not starting at quarterback today for the Baltimore Ravens, but that's been a real topic here this week, a quarterback controversy, even when you're 5-8-1.
Yeah, but I think the bigger controversy is not who's starting today, but who's going to be the starter in 1998. And Vinny Testaverde, by his own admission, has not had a Pro Bowl season like he did in '96. And Eric Zier, he will get the start today, his second start overall. And Ted Marchibroda wants to find out whether this guy will be his quarterback of the future.
James, the other big question here today is, which Tennessee Oiler team will show up? The team that really played so well against Dallas on Thanksgiving Day on the road, or the team that just fell on their face in Cincinnati a couple of Thursday nights ago?
Yeah, it was Jekyll and Hyde the last two Thursday outings. Unfortunately, this is a Sunday game for Jeff Fisher's group. He says the 10 days has given them time to reflect and get over it. And Eddie George is very well rested for this ballgame. He only had 5 carries against the Cincinnati Bengals, a guy who has carried the ball 315 times this season. So when the Oilers get going, it'll be behind Eddie George.
It's the Oilers and the Ravens coming up next for the last time ever here at Memorial Stadium. We're set for the kickoff. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
From the most accessible city to the most remote village, everybody needs energy. And energy is very much a Siemens product. Energy from steam, from water, from gas. We can get energy from any available source, including the sun, which means we can get energy to places where we can't even get a car. We're Siemens.
We can do that.
They give us heroes, they give us hope, they let us laugh and cry and fall in love. Movies touch us as few things can. Any technology that heightens the experience of watching movies at home makes life even more enjoyable.
DVD video from Philips Magnavox. Technology for the heart, the spirit, and the imagination.
Welcome back to Baltimore, everybody, here at Memorial Stadium. Set to go now. The Oilers taking on the Ravens. Al Del Greco has the ball on tee as Tennessee will kick off. Back deep for the Ravens is Bottled Lightning. And I'll tell you, this guy is going to be a big factor today. To the top of your screen, 84, Jermaine Lewis. 2 punts for touchdowns last week. And the Oilers will have to be wary of him on special teams. Glad you're with us on a sunny, beautiful day in Baltimore for the final game ever here at Memorial Stadium. Jermaine Lewis catches it at his own 6-yard line and brings it up near the 30 where he's brought down. First and 10 there, a 24-yard return for Lewis, and here comes Eric Zier getting the start. His second start in a row. The offensive line, very good. Topped off by the great second-year player, Jonathan Ogden. He's on his way to the Pro Bowl. Quentin Newyear gets the start at center. Wally Williams shifts over to a guard spot. In the backfield, it looks like this. Zier has Bam Morris starting with him in the backfield. Jackson and Alexander, the wide receivers. They'll go with 2 tight ends, Eric Green and Brian Kinchen. First and 10. The ball is at the 30-yard line. Zier led the Ravens to a win last week against Seattle. That earned him the second start in a row here this week against Tennessee. Morris on first down and runs right into the arms of Baron Wortham for a short half-yard gain over the 30-yard line. Let's meet the Oiler defense. Up front for them, the front 4, Anthony Cook, Gary Walker, Henry Ford, and a good rookie, Kenny Holmes, with 7 sacks. He gets the start, and they look for a little more pressure off that right side. Very active linebackers. Bowden, Wortham, and Lemansky Hall starts at the right linebacker spot. Denard Walker and Darrell Lewis at the corners. Blaine Bishop going to his 3rd straight Pro Bowl. And Marcus Robertson is back in after coming back after arthroscopic surgery. Second down and 9 for Baltimore. Morris again And coming up on the corner and making the stop right there is George McCullough. This is his first game in playing as a member of the NFL Tennessee Oilers. He comes off the practice squad, and boy, he makes a good tackle right away.
Well, he's got the butterflies out of the way, but, you know, the matchup is a big, very big offensive front for the Baltimore Ravens against a small, quick defensive unit for the Tennessee Oilers. And March Broda said, we're going to try and pound them early, and they were ineffective the first two plays.
Morris lost 2 on that play, so it's 3rd down and 11. 3 wide receivers in. Zaire's first pass with a blitz, sidesteps a little bit of the rush, tiptoes out of another tackle, throws it long for Jackson, and it's incomplete. Down by the 30-yard line of Tennessee, Denard Walker is on coverage there for the Oilers. And so it's a 3-and-out right away for the Ravens.
And all day long, you'll be able to say Tennessee Oilers and blitz, because that is what Jeff Fisher has in store for Eric Zaire today. And we talked to Blaine Bishop, and he said, you know, he's a young guy. He's only in his 3rd year. And until you've had 2 full seasons of starting, you really aren't a proven veteran, and they're going to blitz Eric Zaire and try and force him into mistakes.
You saw Derek Mason, 82, back for the Oilers. Greg Montgomery into punt for the Ravens. Mason looking into a tough sun on a bright day here at Memorial Stadium. Oh, he got tied up there. I think the sun bothered him. Donnie Brady is chasing the ball down. It's picked up by the Ravens. They're going to take it into the end zone. And they're ruling that the ball was down at the 21-yard line. And are they saying that it hit one of the Oilers? The official pointed towards that it's Baltimore ball. Terry Killens might have been the player that it struck. A 55-yard punt. Let's watch this one, James, as it came down.
The ball was touched by the receivers, recovered by the kickers. The kickers cannot advance the ball. First down.
Yeah, and I think the conversation there was, had a Baltimore Ravens touched the ball prior to Tennessee Oilers touching the ball, because if that happens, then obviously Houston can pick it up, they can bobble it, and they can never lose it if that's the case.
Tyrus McLeod is the player there picking it up and advancing it into the end zone. But you're right, James. Terry Killens is the man that the ball hit him on the ankle. And look at where the Ravens get the ball at the 16-yard line, rather, of Tennessee. First down. Big turnover there. Kinchin is the motion man, the tight end. Van Morris cuts to the inside the 10.
You know, it doesn't take a genius to figure out where you would like to run the football. You have Jonathan Ogden, who has moved from left guard to left tackle this year, and really to the head of the class, even at that position. A lot of people around the NFL will tell you he is the equal of Tony Baselli, and perhaps even better than Baselli, and they have gone straight at Kenny Holmes, 3 consecutive running plays, and you would have to scratch your head if you're Kenny Holmes. I'm a first-round pick, a big stud, and this guy is going to wear me out and may wear me out for the rest of my career as I play against him.
They'll meet each other twice every season. The ball just inside the 10. 2nd down and 2 for the Ravens. They go right back to Morris. Tied up at the line of scrimmage, and look at the Oilers come to the ball right there with those active linebackers. Anthony Cook gets off the pile, along with Baron Wortham.
And one of the fallbacks of maybe Ted Marchibroda's system, where even when you use 2 tight ends, you do not have that lead blocker that you would at fullback. And they have Kenyon Cotton, who's on the sideline, who is their only prototype fullback. But Marchibroda doesn't like to use him a lot. He has Eric Green in at one tight end, Kinchin in at the other tight end. And if I'm the Ravens, I'm going to try and run that ball behind Eric Green and Jonathan Ogden. Eric Green is just a big, fast tackle playing tight end.
3rd down and still 2 to go. Zaire throws. Jackson catches, spins at the 1, and he's in for the touchdown.
Just a simple sprint out, and you talk about Eric Zaire only being a shade over 6 feet tall. Can he operate behind this massive offensive line? And the statement is, yes, I can. Height doesn't make any difference. And when you match up a rookie against a veteran like Michael Jackson, the rookie's thinking he's going deep. Michael Jackson, a big physical target, is able to get his way into the end zone after the catch.
Matt Stover for the extra point. Montgomery holds. Had to pull the snap down, placed it down, and the kick is good. And after the fumble on the punt, Michael Jackson catches the touchdown pass, and the Ravens lead 7-0 over Tennessee.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. From our family to yours, we wish you a very safe and happy holiday season.
We all need our space. The new, larger, more luxurious E6 Accord from Honda.
I'm Simon Woodruff, and what I do is Yo Sushi. Technology for us is about learning our own business. Nobody in their right mind would open a restaurant if you look at the figures. We have to find a new supplier for seaweed. Just a very quickly seared tuna. I don't actually come from a restaurant background. I come with an open mind.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. By the 1998 Honda Accord, an Accord like no other. By Microsoft, where do you want to go today? And by American Express, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more.
Michael Jackson catches an 8-yard touchdown pass from Eric Zier. Baltimore cashes in. They go 3 plays, 16 yards. It took a minute 24, set up by the mishap on the punt when the ball struck Terry Killens, and the Ravens recovered. The kickoff sails down. Rodney Thomas. A flag goes down as he goes down at the 25-yard line. 18-yard return, but it's going to even worsen for Tennessee on field position as they get flagged on the penalty. Bob McElwee.
Illegal block in the back above the waist, number 26 on the receiving team during the run. 10 yards, half the distance to the goal line, first down.
Renee Stewart. All right, let's check out Tennessee as the offense finally gets on the field now. Brad Hopkins with Bruce Matthews going to his 10th straight Pro Bowl. Stepnoski, Donnelly, and John Runyon. Big offensive line, good offensive line. Steve McNair, the quarterback. Eddie George is off to Honolulu in the Pro Bowl with Michael Roan, Willie Davis, Chris Sanders, Frank Wycheck. Good player, played here at the University of Maryland in college. First look at Steve McNair. The offense is in bad field position back at their own 10-yard line. And he'll throw right away. Looking for Willie Davis. The ball behind him on coverage was Deron Jenkins. Here's a look at the Ravens defense, which has been playing well the last couple of weeks. Rob Burnett, James Jones, Larry Webster is in for Tony Siragusa. He had surgery on his hand the other day, and Michael McCrary is at the right end. The linebackers, young and good. Peter Boulware, the rookie, Ray Lewis, Jamie Sharper, Langham, and Jenkins on the corner. 2 rookies in the secondary, Staten and Herring. This defense had 4 interceptions last week against Seattle. 2nd and 10. Eddie George's first carry. Turns the corner. Not too much running room on the side. Chased out by Ray Lewis, Ann Herring, and James Jones. So it's 3rd down.
And I know the standard school of thought is that if people are going to crowd the line on 1st down, we'll try and outfox them and throw the football. But as long as I have Eddie George on my team, you know, heavy doses of this guy early in the ball game tend to wear out the other team. Kevin Donnelly, the guard, said, you know, if we feed this guy the ball early enough, the 1st quarter, the 2nd quarter, people start to get out of his way in the 3rd and 4th quarter. He's that type of running back.
He really wears you down, and there he is, lining deep up in the backfield, 3rd and 7. McNair in trouble, stands there, and wow, what strength as he fires the ball out. He was wrapped up by the legs, and the catch by Willie Davis, and he's up near a 1st down at the 20-yard line. How did McNair get it off?
Well, you said wow, and one of the things that we asked McNair when we talked to him this past week is what makes him go wow, and he said there was a play against the Cowboys, Chad Hennings is draped over one leg, and somehow I threw the ball. I think he even underestimates his own strength. At 6 feet, he's about 235, almost 40 pounds. He's one of the strongest guys around. Everybody knows he's a great runner, but to be able to stand in the pocket and compose yourself and get rid of the football, that's a skill that you don't learn sitting on the sideline. That's the thing you learn in the game.
It was a first down. Gets away from Rob Burnett. There's a flag going down as Burnett got chopped down. McNair still up, fires. It is caught by Derek Mason, but I believe this one's coming back because Burnett really got nailed. He got chopped down below the knees, and it is coming back.
Well, not only did we have a flag down, and we are close enough to the field that we could hear a whistle. And you saw Steve McNair hesitate, and obviously it's a bootleg. He's going to get outside the pocket. But there was a whistle, and he hesitated on his play.
Number 80, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Not a good start for Jeff Fisher's Oilers as Michael Rohn is flagged for grabbing Rob Burnett.
And we talked about Steve McNair, whether or not well, you see the hold, it almost looks more like a chop there.
Yeah, it really looks
comes
like a
down
chop.
behind him, and that's a dangerous play where you can hurt somebody. And I would think that there's a lot of payback in this league. And if you get your chance later, you look up Rohn and pay him back for that chop block.
So it's 1st and 20, and they now are back at their 10-yard line. They jump across as Rob Burnett came across early, but Eddie George is into the secondary. And Ray Lewis finally trails him and brings him down out near the 40-yard line. 29-yard run if it stands. It looked like 90. Rob Burnett was offside.
Yeah, it's an offsides against Rob Burnett. And really what that does, this throws everyone else on your defense off. You see one guy who comes over in that neutral zone, and for just one instant, the rest of the defense kind of hesitates. They let up. You lose that guy's pressure, and Eddie George just springs it right up the middle. Eddie, you're not going to tackle him just with arms. You really do need to wrap up on him and gang tackle this guy.
Jamie Sharper did try and do just that, James. Tried to get him with his arms. And he missed. 1st and 10. McNair on a blown play. But he can run and he can turn it into a good play and tiptoes out into the Oiler bench at the 40-yard line. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York with an update right now.
All right, Jim, we'll take you to Buffalo, where Jacksonville's Mark Brunell connected with Keenan McCardle for 60 yards, and it set this up. A 13-yard run around the left side by Brunell into the end zone to give the Jaguars a 7-0 lead. With a win today, Jim, Jacksonville clinches a playoff spot.
You know, watching that run by Brunell, we sat down, we talked to Steve McNair. We said, who's the best running quarterback in your mind? And we saw the grin come across the face. I said, okay, not you. He said, Steve Young and Brunell before the knee. But Brunell after the knee looks pretty good.
There was no gain on that first down run, but here comes Eddie George. And George finds room to the middle and picks up 5 out to the 45-yard line.
Jamie Sharper brought it down.
So if I'm going to run this football, I'm going to run it right here for the Tennessee Oilers, because Tony Siragusa is not playing today. He is the run stopper. He's out. He had a surgery on his hand on Friday. He's unavailable for this team today. And at 340, 50, 60 pounds plus, Tony Siragusa, there he is. He clogs up the middle. And I'm not talking about the middle of the buffet line. He clogs up the middle of the defense.
37 yards on 3 carries already for Eddie George. Remember, he had 11 against the Bengals on 5 carries in that 41-14 nightmare loss. Here's McNair throwing. Nice catch as Frank Wycheck pulls it down at the Raven 49-yard line. 7-yard pickup, first down. There's a player down back in the where the pass originated from, where McNair was back in the pocket.
You watch Steve McNair drop back in the pocket, and this season his safety blanket has become Frank Wycheck. The wide receivers on this team feel pretty forgotten. They could enter the witness protection program. As much as they've gotten the football, no one would even know that they were gone, but Wycheck has become his go-to guy.
We'll check out the Ravens injured player when we return to Memorial Stadium. Baltimore 7, Tennessee nothing early in the first.
Oh, don't forget your appointment.
Yeah, I got it, 2 o'clock. The suit's cool, right?
Looks great.
Little baby.
Did you see Dave's new car?
Yeah, I saw Dave's new car. I was thinking maybe we could get a minivan.
If the word minivan scares you, just say Odyssey from Honda. It handles like a car, so it's fun to drive, and it looks great.
What?
Just hold this and you know you're going to get a close shave. Remington introduces the new shape in shaving. The angle to the face, just right.
Can't believe I'm in love with an electric.
But look at this shave. Remington's new dual microscreen, built to shave incredibly close.
And they guarantee it.
I like being in control. With this new Dinerex, I control the cause of my dandruff every day.
New Dinerex Advanced Formula. Its medicine doesn't just treat the symptoms. It controls a leading cause of dandruff called Peel Valley.
Now that's serious control.
New Dinerex Advanced Formula.
Time can be stopped. Timex Ironman triathlon watches keep going.
My name's Dan Mears of the Kansas City Chiefs. I take a lot of pride in wearing this uniform. I tell people I go to work every day in a suit and a tail.
The network of the Super Bowl. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Larry Webster was the injured Baltimore Raven defender. He was going down to the turf. He got blocked by Eddie George. He walked off under his own power and appears to be okay. May take a play off and come back into the defensive lineup. It's a first down for Tennessee. They're in Raven territory. Eddie George takes the pitch. Antonio Langham brings him down near the 43-yard line.
Running down.
You know, I'm just shaking my head up here because that's not an assignment that I would want to have to tackle Eddie George. I mean, you're a defensive back. Your job is to cover that cute little wide receiver who runs those outs and up. You don't want Eddie George. You talk about well-sculpted body. Well, Eddie George is it. The weight room, the extra running. And he's not going to try and juke you in the open field. He's going to run over you.
Keith Washington is into the lineup, replacing Larry Webster after he went down injured. Frank Wycheck goes in motion again. The Ravens come across early, and again, Eddie George slices into the secondary, and look at him take on Ralph Staten, and finally go down at the 25-yard line. It's an 18-yard run while we check out the flags. Mike Frederick.
Number 94, defense. That penalty will be declined. First down.
He didn't even have to check with them, did he? He just said decline. They'll take the 18-yard gain.
You would have to wonder at this point whether or not Steve McNair is using a little head motion. I mean, he is definitely still there. Enough voice inflection will draw guys off, and it is the oldest adage, watch the football. Every defensive lineman is taught that from the time that they first line up to play when they're in Pop Warner or high school. Watch the football.
From the 25, 10th play of the drive, Eddie George again dives down inside the 25-yard line. Tackled by James Jones.
I'm going to reiterate it one more time, and then I'll get off the subject. Not having Tony Saragusa in the middle of this lineup really changes the things that they're able to do. Ray Lewis, the middle linebacker, has, 785 tackles, 1 million tackles this year. Most of those tackles are because guys stay off of him. And Tony Saragusa is the guy who keeps guys off of Ray Lewis.
Second down and 8. A draw. Eddie George inside the 20. If you go back, when we visited with Kevin Donnelly last night from the Oilers offensive line, he said once we told him that Siragusa was injured, he said, I'm going to go back and tell Bruce Matthews and the boys back in their room, have a good night's sleep. Siragusa doesn't look like he's going to play.
And you see Eddie George limping off the field a little bit. You don't know whether or not that will slow him down. But you bring in Rodney Thomas. And Rodney Thomas is the backup halfback. He gained 900 yards his rookie year. Then you draft Eddie George. He rarely sees the field, but he is a good quality running back.
It's 3rd and 3. A bootleg for McNair. And the catch made by Willie Davis. It will be 1st and goal inside the 10 at the 9-yard line, where Antonio Langham brings Davis down.
And when you talk to people within the Tennessee Oilers organization, what will it take for this team to get better, to get past the Pittsburgh Steelers, to get past the Jacksonville Jaguars? It was that play right there. Willie Davis catches that ball. The catch is great, but a big physical receiver runs out of that tackle. A guy in the Mo of the San Francisco receivers, and even what Michael Jackson did for the touchdown with the Ravens.
Michael Roan in motion on 1st and goal inside the 10. Rodney Thomas. And he is brought down. Right away, Washington is in on the tackle for the Ravens.
Toughest spot to score on the football field. 1st and goal from the 9. You only have 10 yards behind you once you get to that goal line. 19 yards within the pass. So the defense can really just lay on the goal line and stop routes. Now 2nd and 9. Pretty hard to run 2 plays and get 9 yards if you're going to keep it on the ground. Some type of play action probably be in order for the Oilers here.
Eddie George is back in on this long extended drive by Tennessee to try and tie the game. Ravens lead 7-0. 2nd and goal from the 8. The draw to George. Takes it to the outside and gets hit at the 6. Coming up is Deron Jenkins to bring him down. And a good hit by Jenkins, too. Up slowly is Eddie George, but back on okay.
And I mentioned play action pass. Well, you could put a draw in the same category because you're trying to give the defense a different look. You're trying to make them think it's pass, get in the pass lanes, rush upfield. They didn't buy it that time. But now you have Steve McNair, and he does give you that ability to pull the ball down and run with it.
So far, 3rd down, they've been very good. Perfect, 3 for 3. 3rd and goal at the 7. McNair, right at the end zone. A tip ball is incomplete. Intended for Willie Davis. Antonio Langham and Ralph Staten were over there on the coverage.
And a very, very dangerous pass by Steve McNair. You know, a quarterback has to have confidence that he can fit the ball in to almost any area, but this is like trying to put it through the eye of a needle. Langham, if somebody gets their hands on this ball, they may be going the opposite direction for a touchdown.
And you know, just beyond that shot right there, watch Chris Sanders. He's kind of, for the Oilers, standing back in the end zone. If the tip goes a little bit more to the right there, he's right there. 25-yard field goal upcoming here for Al Del Greco. Craig holds. Ooh, and he just slipped it through. And the Oilers go down the field and get on the board. Ravens lead 7-3.
Ever since I can remember, Jake did things his own way.
Nobody believed him when he said he was going to surf the mountain.
Snowboarding will never be as popular as skiing.
Yeah.
Why do I use the car? I spent my whole life doing things my own way. American Express never questioned it.
Another Nokia discovery. If technology is difficult to learn or program, most people won't. It's why at Nokia we make wireless phones that are easy to understand and operate with one-button scrolling and simple directions. Inspired technology with a human touch. Nokia. Connecting people.
Mood for love, simply because you're near me.
The new Accord V6 Coupe from Honda. What'll it do to you?
The Ironman, the most demanding challenge of endurance the human body can experience. A treacherous ocean swim, a 112-mile bike trek in brutal heat, followed by a grueling marathon. Witness the ultimate test of human endurance in this legendary competition. The Ironman Triathlon, next Saturday at 4 Eastern on NBC.
Back in Baltimore, Steve McNair on the telephone. Pretty good drive, although I'm sure he wanted to take it in for a touchdown rather than an Al Del Greco field goal of 25 yards. 16 plays. They went 85 yards on the drive. Nate Singleton on the return for the Ravens to the 20 and brought down. Nice tackle down there by Terry Killings. 15-yard return. A flag is down on the return.
And where it's been dropped, I would think that maybe the Oilers are offside.
Right on it, James. Well, a decision time now for the Ravens. Do they want the re-kick?
Offside, number 20 of the kicking team. Re-kick with a 5-yard penalty.
And that's what they are going to do. Rodney Thomas lined up offside, or came offside early on the kick. Scott O'Brien, the special teams coach of Baltimore.
And the bad thing about it is it lets Baltimore adjust to them kicking the ball away from Jermaine Lewis. And not only a good idea to kick away from because he's a dangerous return guy, but Jermaine Lewis at 5'8", 170 pounds, sopping wet, is not a great lead blocker for these kickoff returns.
Well, you can follow the NFL online now at msnbcsports.com. And Gil Brandt breaks down the Chiefs and analyzes their dominance this season. Plus, we feature the Steelers' Jerome Bettis, a candidate for the league's MVP award. Also, vote for who you think is Coach of the Year, and it's all at msnbcsports.com.
If I'm looking at Coach of the Year, I have to look at Jim Fossil from the Giants. It's a team that was, predicted to come in last in their division. They end up winning it.
They go from last to first.
Exactly.
And win the NFC East yesterday when they beat the Washington Redskins. Tony Dungy you'd have to throw in there, too, from the Tampa Bay Bucks. Ball is up finally on the tee, and from the 25, Del Greco hits it. Hits it well, too. A high kick back at the 6-yard line. Jermaine Lewis over the 25 out to the 28-yard line. A 20-yard return. And we'll return to Memorial Stadium. Ravens lead 7-3.
Honda presents Great Drives. In the final minute of the season opener, Cincinnati trailed Arizona by 5. How did the Bengals pull out a Week 1 thriller? Stay tuned.
You can only survive on what you find in the forest. We'll meet in 5 days here. Good luck.
The Honda CR-V has its own picnic table, waterproof storage compartment, and 2 power outlets. For those times when you have to rough it.
I love nature.
The Bengals stormed 63 yards in just 6 plays to notch the stunning come-from-behind win.
Throws up. Yeah, the Bengals have the lead. Wow. Unbelievable.
We've taken color to new depths. Canon's BJC 7000 color bubble jet printer with the 7-color ink system. The best print quality ever seen. Wet or dry.
Says here you ran over a squirrel when you were 16.
Oh, you saw that, huh?
No, I was guessing. You never put the toilet seat down.
What?
You ripped the tag off your mattress.
What?
Does your bachelor party ring a bell?
Not going anywhere for an eternity?
I'm not even gonna look at puberty.
Hey, does this line ever move?
Moving now, isn't it?
When you're really hungry, grab the big one.
Next, you're a winner.
Back at Memorial Stadium, I'll tell you what, Santa is running slightly ahead of Johnny Unitas for most people getting their pictures taken with him.
That red suit is just a babe magnet.
40 members of the Baltimore Colts here on the final day at Memorial Stadium. Eric Zier begins the drive now for the Ravens. Third of the day for them. They're at their own 28. They lead 7-3 over Tennessee. Bam Morris finding no running room at all as the Oilers shut down the corner. Gary Walker is in there along with Baron Wortham.
Well, if you have a big team, physical guys, you would expect to run directly at them. You're going to try and run wide with a big back, a guy who's not really a fast back, Bam Morris. You're going to have to get some real good push at the start of the offensive line. Tennessee is small and quick, and it's to their advantage if they can string the plays out, and that's what they've been doing so far.
Bam Morris having a tough day. So are the Ravens running the ball, and that's all Morris today. 4 yards rushing so far on their third possession. He gets the ball again. And a little bit more running room this time over the 30-yard line. All right, the big buzz here in Baltimore this week has been Eric Zier, Vinny Testaverde. And then there was the other story. Are the Ravens really interested in Jim Kelly? Well, in yesterday's Baltimore Sun, Ted Marchibroda dismissed the report about Kelly with a joke. Now, if I'm bringing in Jim Kelly, let me read it first, James. If I'm bringing in Jim Kelly, I might as well bring in James Lofton, too. What about this?
I don't think he was joking. I think what he's saying is if that we can possibly sign Jim Kelly, maybe we can find the money under the cap to really bring in a proven, very, very veteran wide receiver.
Third down at 6. I thought it was interesting that you were with the Ravens doing calisthenics before the game. The throw to Michael Jackson, incomplete over his head at the 42, and the Ravens will punt.
You know, I think that the tough thing in all of this has possibly is on Vinny Testaverde, a guy who, you know, played the Pro Bowl a year ago. A year ago this time, he was getting his bags packed to go to Hawaii. And now he's on the sideline. Eric Zier is piloting the offense. And he really has to wonder what his future is. And with speculation and rumors like Jim Kelly, it's topsy-turvy at his house right now.
Montgomery, 55-yard punt his first time. And remember, the Oilers had it hit them. Now Derek Mason, boy, he hits them with a good return. And the ball comes loose again for the second time in a row. They give a punt away, and the Ravens come up with it. That's Kim Herring with the ball. Coming out onto the field.
I don't think I've seen a punt returner take the ball up the field as hard as Derek Mason did on that play. Talked to Floyd Reese, the general manager, before the game. They expect big things from Derek Mason. But when a guy takes it up that fast, you have to realize this is not college. You're not going to run over guys. This is the NFL, and there are some big boys out there who are going to lay the wood on you. You have to protect yourself. I mean, he is running through there as if he's on a Saturday afternoon stroll, and he doesn't see the guys coming in from the blind side. Donnie Brady gets a good head on him and just dislodges that football.
Brady and Brian Kinchin came in from each side, one on the left, one on the right. They hit Mason. The ball squirts out, and Kim Herring recovers the fumble, giving Baltimore the ball at the 35, and Mason is still down.
And I've been in his position. You know, people ask, what's the hardest hit you've ever taken? Well, the hard hits, you get them all the time, but they hurt even worse when you're separated from the football. If it's a wide receiver going over the middle, trying to catch a ball, if you don't come down with that ball, it really hurts. And on this punt return, if he holds on to that ball, believe me, he may even be able to bounce up and get off the field because that adrenaline is still going. But when you lose the ball, that adrenaline shuts off and the pain steps in.
I'm sure it does, and Derek Mason is feeling that pain right now as he remains down on the field. This is the last game at Memorial Stadium, and as we commemorate that final game here this afternoon, here's a look back at the first game held here. Memorial Stadium first opened its doors to the Baltimore Colts in September 1953. At the home opener that year, the fans filed in as the Colts upset the Chicago Bears. The score on that afternoon, 13-9. The attendance that day, 23,715. And now here we are today as the Ravens head downtown Baltimore next year for the opening of the 98 season. From the 35-yard line of Tennessee and leading 7-3. Two miscues on punts by the Oilers have handed the ball to the Ravens in great field position. Zier wants it all right away. Incomplete. Derek Alexander stretched out and had it, but couldn't pull it down.
From down on the field, every player does this. I went down before the game to check out where the sun is, and Derek Alexander is looking directly into the sun on that play. And you know what? I talked to Don Strock, and I said, will you call plays differently so not to put the guys in jeopardy? And as a quarterback, he obviously just said no. You know, they have to catch the football. But as a wide receiver, the first excuse on your list is I lost it in the sun.
Zier thought he had a big one right there, but it's incomplete. 2nd and 10. Bam Morris on his left. There's a lot of running room as he comes to the left and to the near sideline. First down, steps out of bounds near the 22.
The tail end of that run will tell you everything that you want to know about Bam Morris. He is a bit of an enigma at running back. At 6'2", 245 pounds, you would think that Bam Morris is not a shifty guy. Well, he takes this ball behind the line of scrimmage. There's nowhere to go. He kind of bounces and dances and bounces, and the big guy doesn't do that. And then at the tail end of the run, you think he's going to put his shoulder down. He hurdles over the guy.
14 yards, his best running play of the afternoon, and a first down. Zaire throws into a lot of white shirts there, and the ball is batted down. Looks like Anthony Cook might have ended up getting his hands on that ball and batted down. You know what, James? Zaire, not a really tall quarterback, and so the offensive line, Jonathan Ogden said that, they really have to keep those defensive linemen away and keep the pocket really from sinking in on him.
Yeah, and that was a very short drop there. That was the same ball that he had thrown outside for the touchdown earlier. He elected to try and go inside. He had to throw it in between people.
2nd and 10. Gets away from the rush, but not that one. And he's brought down by Gary Walker back near the 30-yard line. They feel that they did a little extra roughing up of Zaire, and now the offensive lineman of the Ravens taking exception.
And Orlando Brown is right in the middle of that mix. And when we talked to Orlando Brown, the thing he said, you know, Jonathan Ogden came in here. He said he has the technique, he has the style down. I just want to go out and wrap the guy up and hit him in the head. And I'm so aggressive that I need to learn to take the proper pass set. And at the end of this play, Eric Zaire kind of just gets pretzeled a little bit, and there's a little bit, who was the old official who said, you know, he's giving them the business. Well, he got the business at the tail end of that play, and the offensive lineman didn't like it.
Oh, everybody jumping and leaving early on that play. On 3rd down and 19, and the flags come down. Michael Jackson.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 86, offense. 5 yards, repeat the down, 3rd down.
Well, you could pick a number there, and they picked Eric Green, but Michael Jackson also left early, too.
But with the sack and the illegal procedure now, they have backed themselves up way out of field goal range, kicking into this wind. Talked to the special teams coach. He said about a 40-yarder as far as we could kick it. Well, they're at a 50-yard plus now. So, in essence, they're almost in 2-down territory now. If they can complete a pass, they could then try and go for it again on 4th down, because you just can't kick into this wind right here.
Well, they're going to let the first quarter run down and run out as Eric Zaire will come over and talk it over on what will be 3rd down and 23 when we start the 2nd quarter here on the final home game at Memorial Stadium. After 1, Baltimore leads 7-3.
Okay, last time. You have your documents, passports, visas.
With the Creativity Imaging Center that can capture and send images...
Scared? This should help.
The new compact Presario 4800 series with Intel Pentium 2 processor can change the way you look at life.
Say hello to your new daughter.
The Presario 4800 series from Compaq.
Are you looking for that red-hot gift this holiday? That gift that's hotter than hot. The one on everyone's list? Then come to Wendy's and get a spicy chicken sandwich. It's very hot. And while you're there, say hello to Dave.
Have you seen the Elf? The Elf does its magic with advanced photo system film. Presto, it's loaded. Now take super shots in 3 different sizes. Have you seen all the Elf? From Canon.
How to speak Australian. Mistletoe. Beer. Foster's. Australian for beer.
Will she say, I love it? You shouldn't have. It's just what I wanted. Or will she say, nothing at all? The Diamond Solitaire Necklace. This Christmas goes straight for the heart.
A diamond is forever. De Beers.
As we get set to start the 2nd quarter, Jim Donovan along with James Lofton, Baltimore's Ravens 7 and the Tennessee Oilers 3. It's 3rd down and 23 to go for Eric Zaire. At the 34 of Tennessee, they run it. Bam Morris to the 31, and he's tailed down there. The crowd not liking the call there as they will go for a field goal now. Matt Stover comes on the field.
And my big theory about trying to go for it in 2 was thrown out the window as the teams exchange field pass, because now they can kick with the wind. And Matt Stover, during the timeout, actually came out onto the football field to kind of check out the wind. So, you know, he's been out there early. Pretty confident he can hit this 50-yarder.
50-yarder. He was 1 for 3 last week. His long on the year, as you saw, is 49 yards. Montgomery holds. The Stover kick is blocked. And it's picked up by the Oilers. So it really goes bad for them right there. Bowden comes up and scoops up the ball. The linebacker. Tennessee gets finally a good special teams play.
Yeah, and that ball was been blocked by a bunch of 4th graders. It has no height whatsoever. He hits it, and it's a line drive. You see how low it comes out of there. And granted, the Oilers have pressure. This ball is just too low. It's never going to get above the line of scrimmage. I think Kenny Holmes was the guy who got in there on the block.
And he was all over it. Jeff Fisher says, all right, here we go. They've had 2 miscues on punts, receiving those punts that have turned into Raven recoveries, and now they blocked a 50-yard attempt by Matt Stover. 1st and 10, they're in Raven territory. McNair, he's sacked for the first time today. Rob Boulware comes in and picks up his 11th and a half sack of the season.
And normally your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. And Steve McNair's greatest strength is his mobility. So he's going to stand there in the pocket when there are times when he really needs to get going or to deliver the ball a little more quickly. He's looking for something big downfield. He has to sense that they're bringing multiple people and getting rid of the ball.
So we're on a Peter Boulware watch right now. 1 sack away from tying the rookie record. McNair still wants to throw it. Finally gives up on that idea, and he runs out of there down near the 43-yard line. And we'll go back to New York right now and check in with Greg Gumbel. He has an update for us.
All right, Jim. Orchard Park, New York, and Buffalo, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their eyes set on a playoff berth with a win today. Natron Mean bulls his way in from 2 yards out. And with the extra point, the Jaguars now lead Buffalo 14-0 second quarter. Back to Jim and James.
I would love to see the Baselli-Bruce Smith matchup in that ballgame. Baselli handled them last year during the playoffs.
3rd down and 11 for the Oilers. Oh, the whole middle of the field is open for McNair. And he slides down near the 20-yard line. It just parted right in the middle, James, for a 22-yard gain.
You know, you will see what Steve McNair sees, and he doesn't see a guy open enough to deliver the football downfield, but what he does see is that huge opening. And Ray Lewis, who's one of the best tacklers, well, Ray Lewis, you better get really good cleats next time if you want to stand up and tackle this guy.
Coming into the game, McNair was rushing for 534 yards, and he runs there for 22 more. 1st and 10. Gets rid of it just before Sharper, the linebacker. Jamie Sharper belts him in the pocket.
If it is your job to blitz from the backside, that's exactly what you do. Very often, that linebacker, when he's coming from the open side, he'll see that play-action fake, and he'll dip at the running back. Sharper kept his eyes on McNair. This is obviously something that they have seen on film, and good film study will often pay off during the course of the football game.
Jamie Sharper heads to the sideline. A good rookie season for him, the rookie from Virginia. And it is 2nd and 10. Eddie George. Nothing. He runs into the arms of Keith Washington. And Ray Lewis, the middle linebacker.
And kind of a mismatch at the point of attack. You have Frank Wycheck, who's a good maneuverable tight end, a good pass catcher, against Keith Washington, who is a defensive end. And anytime you match up a tight end blocking a defensive end, the defensive end should normally win that matchup. Now, Wycheck may want that defensive end to try and cover him downfield, but he won't get that.
on third down, and that's what it is right now, 3rd and 10. The Oilers are 4 out of 5. Trailing 7-3. Blitz coming, and McNair has to get rid of it. And the pass is down low and in front of Chris Sanders. So they'll have to settle for a field goal attempt by Al Del Greco.
And they do a good job in what is commonly referred to as a zone blitz. They bring multiple guys from one side, still play zone coverage behind, but too many guys are coming from that short side of the field. They just can't pick them up.
The spot will be at the 30-yard line, a 40-yard attempt. Del Greco is 1 for 1 on the day. He hit from 25. A low line drive, but he gets it over the crossbar, and he's 2 for 2. And the Oilers cut a little bit more off their Raven lead. It's now 7-6. This is the NFL on NBC.
It's time to set the record straight on resale value. In full-size pickups, there can only be one king of the hill. There is, and his name is Chevy. Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Long live the king.
Great timepieces are built to run forever without replacing batteries. But only one of these is smart enough to run forever on any kind of light. Echo Drive from Citizen. Live at the speed of light.
The Panasonic Razor. Shave wet or shave dry. Your choice. Your shave. Rinse clean. Work hard. Play hard. Shave your way. Panasonic.
Housekeeping. Excuse me. Checking out?
Uh-huh.
We'll change the room.
Holiday Inn hotels are undergoing a $1 billion renovation to make every Holiday Inn as good as the best Holiday Inn.
Oh, you're back. Your toothbrush.
That means we're changing a lot more than the sheets. Holiday Inn, on the way.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. By Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Citizen. Today more than ever, Citizen is how the world tells time. And by Compaq, the most popular computer in the world.
Al Del Greco set to kick off. He was good from 40 yards on his field goal. He's 2 for 2 on the day. And Tennessee races down the field to cover Jermaine Lewis in a 7-6 Baltimore lead. Lewis is brought down. Brought down by Armin Williams on the tackle. Well, as we continue to go down memory lane here at Memorial Stadium on the final game played here in its history, ironically, it was the Oilers who also played in the Baltimore Colts final game at Memorial Stadium. And on that last game of the '83 season, Colts quarterback Mike Pagel led Baltimore to a 20-10 win over then the Houston Oilers. Rod Burnett went to the locker room to have an x-ray on his left ankle and has come back out into the field. And James, I'm thinking that might have gone back to that play when he got blocked by Michael Roan early in the game.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the left ankle is heavily taped. He's limping on it. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to come back into this ballgame.
1st and 10 for the Ravens. Bam Morris changing directions again and runs it out near the 33-yard line. We're going to go back to New York right now and check in with Greg Gumbel. He has an update.
All right, Jim, in Indianapolis, the Miami Dolphins are looking for a win and a playoff berth, but Jim Harbaugh is making an awful tough 10-yard touchdown pass to Marshall Faulk. Harbaugh having a good afternoon, and so are the Colts. They lead the Dolphins at this point. 10-0, second quarter, Jim.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh has been hot the last 3 weeks against New England, last weekend against the Jets, and, you know, they are becoming the spoilers. They're going to work themselves out of the way of that first pick there.
Second down. Zaire short drop. Nobody to throw to. Running out of time. And finally, throws one into the Raven bench at the 45-yard line. Now, There had to be super coverage everywhere.
Now, we need to go over a couple of issues first. Never say the word short and Zaire in the same sentence. The guy will get a complex over there. He takes not a deep drop, a mid-range. Yeah, there's a lot of time to throw this football, but no one open downfield. And there are scramble rules. You try and work a certain direction, try and do this. But it boils down to, if you see your color jersey and then the other color jersey right next to each other, you don't throw the football. And, you know, good move by Eric Zaire, because it's very tempting. You scramble around that long to try and make something out of nothing.
It's 3rd and 5. Zaire is 0 for his last 4. He throws that one, and it's incomplete. As it's knocked down at the 38-yard line, Jermaine Lewis was the intended receiver, and Darrell Lewis was draped on him. Lewis on Lewis there. And Darrell Lewis ends up coming up with a good strip on that play.
You know, he might not have had the first down on this play, but it's still good to catch the football and kind of get that continuity back in the offense. And you never know, you know, once Jermaine Lewis gets the ball in his hands, he can break a couple of tackles and make big things happen.
Now back deep, Mike Archie at the 20-yard line. Derek Mason, remember, was injured when he got belted on that last punt return. Punts have been a real roller coaster here today for the Oilers, and Archie is covered back at the 15-yard line. Good special team play again by the Ravens as they hold on to a 1-point lead. We'll be right back.
No idea what this is. I can't do anything without the instructions. Nothing. They were just here. This is driving me nuts.
It's okay. She'll get lots of other presents. We'll just hide this till her birthday.
They were just here. They're right here. I just have. She's been wanting this for a long time. She'll be so disappointed if I only had those instructions. I looked in there already. I already looked in there.
You looked in the box?
I looked in there.
Did you take everything out of the box?
I don't know what the thing is.
Where could they be?
Oh, here they are.
Isn't that a pretty sight? So how many miles? 50? 90. 90,000 miles. Dude, that's just getting broke in for Chevy. Is that a scratch? Scratches give character.
The best long-term quality of any full-size pickup belongs to Chevy.
Women like character.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Whew, what'd you step in?
Christmas Day, a very special present from the NBA on NBC. The top 4 teams from last season's playoffs at the Hardwood. First, Charles Barkley and the Rockets face Stockton, Malone, and the Jazz. Then, Michael Jordan and the world champion Bulls host Pat Riley's Heat. A Christmas Day doubleheader at 2:30 Eastern on NBC.
On the Ravens sideline, Rob Burnett really wants to get back into this game. The X-ray has been taken on that left ankle, and he's out there trying to run it off and get it loose again.
And they have 3 starters out. Saragusa also and Michael McCrary, so 3 out of their 4 starters out of the ballgame right now.
Bad field position again for Tennessee. They start at their 14, trailing 7-6 here in the second quarter. McNair across the middle, intended for Frank Wycheck out at the 35-yard line. Incomplete. Well, you wonder, they're leaving Memorial Stadium, these Ravens. Where are they going to go? Well, here's a look at their brand new stadium, which will be located just a few steps away from the Baltimore Orioles Park at Camden Yards. And there it is. 68,400 is what the seating capacity will be, and it will be ready to go next season.
Now, they don't have a name for it yet, though, do they?
Right now, it's just the new Ravens Stadium.
Just the new place.
McNair offers last 4, so he hands it off, and Eddie George runs right into Ray Lewis. And after a quick start by Eddie George, it's been tough going the last 3 or 4 runs for him.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that if you're going to try and run the ball with Saragusa and all the other guys out of the ball game, you run directly up the middle. Well, you know, we forget Ray Lewis is still in that middle, and Stepnowski's the guy who has to get off and block him. Stepnowski only at 270 pounds. One of the smaller linemen left around at 270 pounds. But Ray Lewis is a tough guy to get a hold of.
3rd and 9. Rodney Thomas in the backfield. The catch is made there and spinning to try and get the extra yardage out over the 20-yard line is Frank Wycheck. But I believe that he is short of the first down by about a yard. And so they'll punt as Reggie Roby will come in.
It is so important to be accurate with your passing because you need to give your guys a chance to run the football.
In the Thursday debacle at Cincinnati, Reggie Roby on the punt. Look at this play. The fake. He fakes the handoff. He runs the ball. It's 12 yards. It was the biggest running play they had in the entire first half. And that concluded the highlights for the Oilers on that night.
And it was the most time-consuming 12-yard run I've ever seen.
He's punting here. Jermaine Lewis takes it at the 30. And stepped out of bounds. Good coverage down there by the Oilers. 47-yard punt by Roby. Baltimore holds on, leading 7-6. And we'll be right back.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, foot over.
Come on. Oh, no. That's battery.
No matter what my customers drive, they depend on AC Delco batteries. They last up to 30% longer.
I'm sure they do. Just give me the generic equipment.
Okay. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
How to speak Australian.
Elbows down, keep it clean. That's it, mate. The mum moves in.
Marriage counselor. Beer. Foster's Australian for beer.
Outstanding timepieces are built to run forever without replacing batteries, but only one of these is smart enough to run forever. On any kind of light, Echo Drive from Citizen. Live at the speed of light.
Meet Caitlin Keats, nature lover. She also loves the new interior of the Chevy S10. There's a lot to be said for the great indoors. Chevy S10, like a rock.
Next Saturday at noon Eastern on the NFL on NBC, Brett Favre and the Super Bowl champion Packers face the Bills. Then next Sunday, a big doubleheader. First, Cordell Stewart and the Steelers meet the Oilers. Then Broncos Chargers or Jets Lions or regional action. The NFL on NBC regular season finale next weekend.
Baltimore leading 7-6 with 8:38 to go here in the first half. They start at the 27-yard line, their own 27. Zaire is in a cold spell, 0 for his last 5. A lot of time. He's looking for Michael Jackson. And a fine recovery on defense by Denard Walker, who steps in and bats the ball away. We head to New York for an update with Greg Double.
All right, Jim, the Colts just keep on rolling in Indianapolis. Jim Harbaugh's pass over the middle is tipped. Ken Dilger still there on the receiving end, 7 yards and a touchdown. And for Indy, it's now a 17-point lead under 7 minutes to play. They lead the Dolphins.
The big question is, what does this do in their war room when they get ready to draft? If they lose that first pick, and they could have gotten Woodson or whoever traded, they'll be looking back at this last month of the season and say, we should have kept losing.
Dan Morris gains 4 as he runs it out over the 30-yard line, setting up 3rd down. Tackle on the play made by Blaine Bishop. Morris with 37 yards. Bishop is on his way to another Pro Bowl, and when we talked to him last night, just talk about a tiny guy that just really has played so well. Bishop, who came out of Ball State out of the MAC Conference, and now back into the Pro Bowl. Oilers coming up on the line of scrimmage on 3rd down. Zaire got hit, but he hung in there and got Michael Jackson for a first down. Over the 45-yard line. He got struck as soon as he dropped back into the pocket.
You know, you talk about a guy's height. You don't measure heart very often, and Eric Zaire has a lot of heart to be able to stand in and throw that football, but at the tail end of the play, once again, the big receiver effect. Jeff Fisher spent 2 years with the San Francisco 49ers, and he looked at their roster with Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and J.J. Stokes, big physical players, and that's what the Oilers want in their next draft.
That was his first completion in his last 7 throws. He'll go right back to it, and he'll shovel it off to Bam Morris. Bowden brings him down, up near a first down inside the Oilers' 45-yard line. That was well done by Zires. He didn't see anything downfield and saw 33 wide open.
And you hear the crowd responding. And when they introduced the players today, Eric Zire got one of the biggest responses from this crowd. You know, Vinny Testaverde has been a much maligned guy ever since he played in the Orange Bowl against Penn State and just kept throwing the ball to the other team. But Eric Zire is a fresh start for this guy, and this may be what they need to move into the new building.
Bam Morris trapped in the backfield and will struggle to get back to the line of scrimmage. Darrell Lewis came up there along with Joe Bowden. So it will be 2nd down and 9. They'll give him a 1-yard gain.
We talked about Vinny Testaverde, but the one thing that Eric Zire said is that both Vinny and I put this team first, and that, you know, despite all the things that are happening, we still remain good friends off the football field.
2nd and 9. Catch is made by Eric Green. Brought down by Lenoir Jones and Darrell Lewis.
And I'm imagining trying to tackle Eric Green, and you know, you're driving down a snow-covered highway, you can barely see, and then out in front of your little spec car pops this big giant moose. That's what it is trying to tackle Eric Green if you're a defensive back. It's like a big moose has stepped in front of your little tiny car.
You know, that's exactly the example that I was thinking about. 3rd down now and 3 for the Ravens. Zire flushed out of the pocket. Steps up, throws for Green. He's got him, and a touchdown!
Vinny Testaverde.
Matt Stover for the extra point. Zire's 2nd touchdown pass of the day. A 37-yard touchdown pass. And the kick is good. And on that drive, Zire went 4 for 5. Topping it off with the touchdown pass to Eric Green. And the Ravens up their lead. It's 14-6.
Now when you buy Pepsi products, you can instantly win one of thousands of PlayStation games and consoles. It might just change your plans for the holidays.
Hey, Santa, you're 6 hours late, and the reindeer and I are sick of playing poker. You
Diane loves a good challenge, and this is it. Get the Advil ready. Advil means freedom from headaches fast. Headaches to muscle aches. Advil simply lets people do what they love to do.
Rent-A-Car, because our car is sick.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
Wow!
drive you to our place, and get you on your way.
Everybody loves to be picked up.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Now you can save $100 on professional installation. So what are you waiting for? DSS system prices are lower than ever. It's available at your participating retailer today.
Together, they searched to find it.
I knew it was true.
Only together can they outrun it,
Let's get out of here.
outgun it, and survive it.
Put him on the endangered species list.
From the creator of Jurassic Park and the Lost World, Congo, the network premiere, tonight on NBC.
We are watching you.
Eric Zier on the Ravens sideline after he scrambles and finds Eric Green for a 37-yard touchdown. There's the breakdown of the drive, 73 yards. Rodney Thomas catches at the 2-yard line for the Oilers. And he gets trapped back at the 15-yard line. And on special teams, Benny Thompson leads the way for the Ravens. So far on kick coverage, they have been superb today.
And Benny Thompson is the guy who goes and acknowledges the crowd, but it's Tyrus McCloud, the linebacker, who actually makes the stop. But Benny Thompson is a force. You know, you try and double team him, you scheme things up to stop him, and when you do that, it frees up the other guys.
Once again, inside their 20, they start at the 16-yard line. Third time that they have started a drive inside the 20 today. Now down 14-6. Here comes Eddie George. A late flag gets thrown in at the 21-yard line. And that will make it a little worse for the Oilers.
Yeah, and that came in from the head linesman. And I would venture to say that wasn't one of the offensive linemen, but maybe a receiver.
Holding number 80, offense.
Michael Rowe.
10-yard penalty. Defeats the down. First down.
There's Michael Rowan. He lines up in the backfield this time, and he is the designated blocker on this team. And he's going to get up in there. And what happens once Eddie George goes the opposite direction, he started off on the right, and Rowan has him. He's thinking he's going to my right. But when he breaks back to the left, and that guy tries to get out of the grass, that's when Rowan is guilty of holding. You don't know where the running back is going to go, so you really need to keep your hands inside the framework of the body. Rowan let that right arm get outside, and that's why he was victimized on the holding call.
That's his second penalty of the day. Now it's first down and 17. Eddie George. He's going to get the penalty yardage back as he brings it out over the 20-yard line.
Rob Stapler had the first catch. Gain of 11.
The NFL on NBC is back next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. Then Bruce Smith and the Buffalo Bills travel to Green Bay to take on Brett Favre and the defending world champion Packers. That's the NFL on NBC next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern.
Now, if I'm playing for the Buffalo Bills, it's cold in Buffalo. I have to get on the plane, get off a colder spot in Green Bay. You would think the last game of the year, get to play in Miami or Tampa or somewhere like that. We're seeing Eddie George there. The medical staff has talked to him. And Ralph Staten comes up, number 41. He started for the first time last week and had 2 interceptions in his first start, a Ravens record. He had been playing behind Stephon Moore all year long. And Staten, Alabama, we knew he could play the pass from the 2 interceptions. But he comes up and he sticks Eddie George. And Eddie George, you can see it like just writhing in pain there. He's walking off on his own power now, but there's just a little bit of limp in his giddy-up.
Well, the thing to remember about Staten is that he's back as a safety right now, but at Alabama, he was a linebacker. So he's made the conversion now to safety in the NFL. On that play, he's still hit like a linebacker. Second down, 7. At their own 20-yard line. Rodney Thomas in for Eddie George. He'll get trapped behind the 20. Great pursuit again by Antonio Langham and Ray Lewis.
Well, you get the pursuit coming from the inside of Ray Lewis, but on the outside you have Willie Davis, who is supposed to block Antonio Langham. And I say supposed to because that's his assignment. He didn't come anywhere close to accomplishing the job. And when you do that, you shorten the field. Langham does a good job in defeating the block. But Willie Davis, paid to catch passes, but you really earn your money when you have to block.
3rd and 7 for Tennessee. McNair pulls it down, and then finally fires it down the middle, and Chris Sanders makes the catch out near the 35. That's a first down on a 15-yard gain.
And a lot of people will have wondered what has happened to Chris Sanders this year. His numbers are way down. I mean, he had some terrific years his first 2 years in the league. But this year, it just hasn't been there for him. And this is one of the spots in the field that he really hasn't operated well in. You know, normally a guy with this type of speed, a lot of outs and ups, but doesn't catch a lot of passes inside the numbers. But when you spread the field out with 3 receivers, there aren't a lot of linebackers left. So, you know, you don't need to be afraid to cross the middle.
McNair back up on first down. Pump fake. Now fires across the middle. It's broken up by Ray Lewis again. What a first half he's having. Why isn't he going to Honolulu?
Well, he has the misfortune of playing the same position as Junior Seau. Junior Seau's going as the second middle linebacker. Levon Kirkland from the Pittsburgh Steelers is going as the #1 guy. He's an alternate. And I would hate to say it, but he'll be watching the playoffs and watching the Steelers and hoping that, you know, Levon Kirkland gets a hangnail or something like that, and he has to get the assignment in Honolulu. But I told Lewis, I said, 10 or 12 years from now, guys will be saying, oh, he doesn't deserve to go. He didn't have that good of a year. Because he's going to have a run in there 7 or 8 years where he's the guy who goes every season.
Second down and 10. Eddie George is back in for the Oilers. Going long for Chris Sanders, and it's intercepted by Antonio Langham. James, that play just didn't look like it was open at all.
And one of the most overworked terms in football is he threw into double coverage. You see the out and up move, and Langham just stays back in his deep zone. Tim Herring picks up the receiver after he makes the out part, and then when he turns up, and Langham is there to pick it up.
Langham holds on to that ball, 3rd for him this season. And the Ravens defense continues to play so well. I mean, they have so many injuries up front. And another one today with Rob Burnett, and yet they're really playing well against the Oilers. 3 turnovers already in the first half for Tennessee. And the ball is at the Raven 25 as Eric Zier might be changing the play right here. He's throwing long. That's a catch down near the 45-yard line. Derek Alexander makes the grab at the 44 of Tennessee, a 30-yard connection.
And I mentioned earlier about our vantage point. Well, we're pretty close to the field. I heard Eric Zier that time call 69, which is their audible to throw the ball deep. Maybe I should have told the Oilers.
2 minutes to go. We'll be right back.
Rocks. Some people skip them, stack them, or just plain ignore them. But then there's these Texaco people. They love the darn things. Obsess over them. Go to the ends of the earth to find them. They study them, they scan them, even taste them. Why? You find the right rocks. You find the energy the world needs to keep on running. Texaco, a world of energy.
Great timepieces are built to run forever without replacing batteries. But only one of these is smart enough to run forever on any kind of light. Echo Drive from Citizen. Live at the speed of light.
Hey, guys.
Need a smile? Call Domino's. The Domino's deep dish does the trick. An inch thick with cheese baked to the edges. And now at 3 toppings, $8.99. Any second, $4.99. But we deliver more than great pizza. At Domino's, we're delivering 1 million smiles a day.
I'm Ironhead Hayward. I'm used to challenges, and I challenge you to try Zest Deodorant Body Wash. Now, I hear you snickering.
But Ironhead, aren't body washes for ladies?
Ow! Listen, chump. Zest doesn't have heavy moisturizers.
But Ironhead, what's with this thingy?
That lather builder works with Zest Body Wash to give you twice the fresh-smelling lather of this bar. And it rinses cleaner, so you're cleaner, more refreshed, period.
Zest Body Wash. Get cleaner, more refreshed.
Get zestfully clean.
Eric Zier sees that Blaine Bishop has crowded the line of scrimmage in a blitz look and decides, I'm going to take my chances, go deep. They actually bail out and play zone coverage behind it with just a perfect pass by Zier sticking the ball on Derek Alexander.
He started out ice cold, 1 for his first 8, although the one connection was a touchdown. And now he's 5 for his last 5. But this play goes nowhere, and Zier is trapped in the pocket and brought down at the 48-yard line. There's Walker in on the tackle of Zier. Go back to last week. As the Ravens started on to get hot in the secondary, they had a big ball game in the secondary to preserve the 31-24 win over Seattle. They came up with 4 interceptions in that game and 3 turnovers here in the first half against Tennessee. The run now to the 45-yard line. And it will be 3rd down and long with 1:34 and the clock running. Both teams have all of their timeouts remaining.
And you're in a no-huddle situation here, but you're not in a hurry. You have 1 minute and 25 seconds to play. You don't want to give them time on the clock to be able to execute their 2-minute offense.
Ernest Biner is in the backfield replacing Bam Morris. A quick adjustment there, and they hit the hot receiver, and it's Jermaine Lewis at the 40-yard line, but they are well short of the first down.
You have a 57, 58-yarder if you try and kick it from here.
I would decline that. He had one blocked already from 50.
And you bleed the clock. You take all of the 40-second clock here. Possibly call a timeout right before that, and then decide what you're going to do on 4th down.
That's what Ted Marchibroda is saying. Let that clock wind down. Then call a timeout, which they do to talk it over. It's 4th down. Baltimore 14, Tennessee 6. This is the NFL on NBC.
My name is Charles McWhite, and I'm a senior ticketing specialist for the Jacksonville Jaguars. For each Jaguars home game, we handle approximately 73,000 tickets. I do see the players pretty regularly. A lot of times when they see me, they say, "Hey, ticket man." But most of the time, people just call me Charles. To a typical Jaguars fan, a ticket serves as a rite of passage. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes me the gatekeeper.
48 seconds remaining here in the first half at Memorial Stadium. And coming up on the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Greg, Joe, Chris, and Sam have all the scores and highlights around the league. Plus, we'll talk with Bill Cowher and Cordell Stewart after their big win yesterday in New England. 4th down, Ernest Biner. That's a first down. And look at the veteran find that sideline to save that clock, too. 17 yards. He steps out at the 23.
And after 14 years of football, you know, he may not be in on 1st down. He may not get in early in the ballgame, but he certainly doesn't get flustered. He's there to protect in the pocket. Then he leaks through. He finds his way out. And first thought, get out of bounds. You know, I don't need the total yardage. I mean, he's way up there in the top 10 rushing all time or whatever it is. Smart, heady play by Ernest Biner.
7 consecutive completions by Zier for 122 yards. And the string will end right there. On the coverage, Lenoy Jones there at Green. Stops the clock with 36 seconds left. Ravens with 2 timeouts remaining. How would you say he's played, James? Eric Zier here in the first half.
I think he's done a good job in moving around, avoiding sacks. We saw the scramble with the touchdown. Derek Green, a good first half by Zier so far.
2nd down and 10 with 36 to go in the first half. Steps up in the pocket. Finds Michael Jackson. Breaks the tackle to the 5. And down near the 1-yard line.
That's going to be a touchback. He fumbles that ball in the field of play. The ball goes in the end zone and out of bounds. Michael Jackson, his right arm is hanging down, but it's that big physical presence. He broke 1 tackle and tried to go for the end zone. That's going to be a touchback, and it'll be the Oilers' ball at the 20-yard line.
Let's watch Jackson at the end of the play here. At the 1, he'll hit.
And he's moving the ball, trying to put it in a secure location. He thought about putting it in that left arm, because he is a left-handed guy, and he would have had it away from the tackler, but it almost looks like he has it in his right arm. It's in his left arm right now, and watch him. Moves it into his right arm, which surprises me, because that's where the defenders are coming from. George McCullough made the hit. You see the grimace, hate to speculate, but obviously is that shoulder made this be a burner or even a separation.
Knee down to end the first half, and Tennessee really dodges a very big bullet. It looked like Michael Jackson had them first and goal at the 1, but instead he fumbles. The ball goes out of the end zone, touchback, and that ends the first half. 14-6, the Ravens lead over the Tennessee Oilers at the end of the first half here in a great final ball game here at Memorial Stadium. Right now, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York for the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Domino's, delivering 1 million smiles a day.
We are happy to add our smiles to the mix. Welcome to those of you watching the Oilers and the Ravens. Greg Gumbel along with Joe Gibbs, Sam Weiss, Chris Collinsworth. Joe is looking at me like I'm crazy. Let's run down the scores and highlights as we have them for you now, beginning with the game. What a shocker taking place in Indianapolis. The Colts all over the Miami Dolphins, 34-0. That's Lawrence Phillips seeing his first action for the Dolphins today, but forget him. Think about Jim Harbaugh. Hits a wide-open Marshall Faulk, 10 yards and a touchdown. Harbaugh open, throwing 9 out of 9 for 109 yards. Harbaugh over the middle, deflected ball, doesn't matter. Ken Dilger is there, 7 yards, touchdown, 17-0. Harbaugh to Dilger. This one is 31 yards, and the Colts jump on top 27-0. And just moments ago, Harbaugh, again, this one an 8-yarder to Ken Dilger, who had not caught a touchdown pass before the game today. He's caught 3. Harbaugh's thrown for 4. The Miami Dolphins do not look ready for this game.
They were worried about it coming in. I said earlier it was a scary game because Indianapolis has not quit. Those guys are playing hard. Not only is the offense doing, as you mentioned, but the defense. They sacked Dan Marino 3 times. He only had been sacked 15 coming into this ball game, and he's fumbled it twice away.
All right, Sam, in the Meadowlands, the New York Jets with a 17-0 lead on the Tampa Bay Bucks. Trent Dilfer, questionable up until game time, has made the start with a sprained ankle, but he's just 2 of 12 for 38 yards. Not the same Dilfer, not the same Tampa Bay Bucks team, Chris.
That man still should be questionable in my mind. It's unbelievable to me that Trent Dilfer's still in there after the fact he can't move around with the bad ankle, and he's been thrown 2 interceptions now for touchdowns. But an incredible turn of events this weekend for the New York Jets, who look completely out of it coming in here. All of a sudden yesterday, New England loses. Now Miami's getting blown out against Indianapolis. The Jets will control their own destiny if their score holds up today in the game next week against Detroit.
You know, Joe, it's a good sign for you. If Chris Collinsworth buries you, you can go in and have a pretty good day.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we had a good talk now on a pregame show about the Jets.
I don't remember.
I remember it vividly, and it gives me great pleasure to say I told you so. But in any case, the other thing, it's classic Parcells. He's going for it on 4th and 1 down there. Gambling Parcells, also in the kicking game, blocks the punt. Right now, hey, the Jets got going. I think Tony Dungy's got a big decision. I wouldn't be a bit surprised at halftime right now that he's got Steve Walsh in there.
All right, Joe. In Buffalo, the Jacksonville Jaguars are trailing the Jacksonville and Buffalo. No, we'll talk about Dallas first. The Cincinnati Bengals on a touchdown pass from Boomer Esiason to Darnay Scott. The Bengals have grabbed the lead on Dallas. Now, in Buffalo, the Jaguars with a 14-3 lead on the Bills at the break. Mark Brunell trying to lead Jacksonville to the playoffs for a 2nd straight year. A win, and they're in. And on the Jaguars' first offensive play, Keenan McCardle on the receiving end for 60 yards to the Bills' 15-yard line. 2 plays later, Brunell takes it himself around the left side, 13 yards and a touchdown, and the Jaguars with a 7-0 lead. Then in the second quarter, watch the second effort from Natron Means. He completes a 90-yard drive with a 3-yard run. It is 14-0. They have the lead now, 14-3. A battle in the NFC Central. The Vikings are leading the Detroit Lions 13-7. In Baltimore, the Tennessee Oilers trail the Ravens 14-6. And in Atlanta, the Eagles and the Falcons are tied at 7 at halftime. When we come back, we'll hear from Cordell Stewart and Bill Cowher of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But first, we'll step aside for these words from your local station.
Monday on Susan, 'tis the season for harmonious song. And Susan finally realizes her true feelings for Jack.
I should be talking to Jack.
Not talking, kissing.
But, oh no, is it too late? And on Jenny, the girls have the perfect holiday job. Plus, it's their first L.A. Christmas party.
It's not eggnog. It's soy nog. Soy nog?
An all-new Jenny after Susan, NBC, Monday.
In today's sophisticated marketplace, the slightest glitch in the flow of information can ruin your business and ruffle your customers. Fortunately, one communications giant is fielding a solution. Bell Atlantic's team approach, a way for large and small businesses alike to customize plans to meet their needs, with suggestions on how to access new information faster and more efficiently. Tailored solutions that can expand your pipeline and eliminate potential bottlenecks, and integrated network service to ensure that the information you gather reaches the people who need it most. While things are happening, Bell Atlantic, we'll see you there.
Plenty of sun, but breezy today. Mid-40s for highs.
It was just before Christmas, and all through the land, not an NBA fan was uncheery, knowing the Xmas twin bill was at hand. Now Charles, now Clyde, now Stockton and Malone, on Hardaway, on Zoe, on Jordan the High Flown. So open your presents on Christmas so early, then tune to the Peacock Christmas Day at 2:30.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Domino's, delivering 1 million smiles a day.
Greg Gumbel back in our New York studios, along with Joe Gibbs, Sam Weiss, Chris Collinsworth. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers have to be feeling pretty good right now after yesterday's overtime victory at New England. Prior to that game, Chris Collinsworth talked with head coach Bill Cowher and quarterback Cordell Stewart.
Yeah, I'd like to have 75 degrees and sunny all the time, too, but that's not football. Good job! That's what it's beautiful! That's what it's beautiful!
Take me back to draft day when you took Cordell in the second round, and a guy with his sort of physical skills coming in, and yet you knew that he also would have the ability to play elsewhere. Was there a little indecision just in the fact that maybe I'm setting myself up for a controversy here?
I don't think so. I think, number one, I know in looking at him, we looked at him as a quarterback, and I remember sitting there, and to be honest with you, watching tape one day, and Chan Gailey had come in, and he was looking at receivers at the time, and he said, I remember him saying to me, he said, you know, there's something special about this kid. And I said, yeah, I said he's not too bad. And so when he was there, you know, we actually talked about the guy in the first round. There was never any thought about any other position other than quarterback until, you know, we got into camp, and then we got into the season, and a couple of receivers went down, and you know, and he was just standing there.
Splash! Here it is.
And why did I get out there and was warming up with Neil, and they saw me catching the ball. Boy, he went to licking his chops. And one day he came and asked me, and I'm like you said, I was sitting there with a Steeler t-shirt on every week with the Nike shorts and my flip-flops watching the game, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, man, I'm just sitting here. And he asked me would I play, would I help out, and I was like, sure. And before you know it, just took off.
Slasher! Look like you run that before. Good job, Slash.
I have to give him credit for being patient, for being unselfish, for doing what was in the best interest of this team. I know it wasn't easy. I know it was very difficult for him for 2 years. And so I think, you know, when he made the decision to let him be the quarterback, there really wasn't any doubt, because for 2 years, everything we asked him to do, he was doing it and being successful at it. And so what made you think that if he's going to be quarterback, that he wasn't going to be successful doing that?
I don't know why it always seems like I always have that power and that will to want to get something done at the end.
I like having number 10 at the helm when the game's on the line, because he kind of finds a way of getting things done.
I still believe that what he did, playing the slash role, has helped him where he is today, because he's played in big games. You know, he's played in the Super Bowl. He's played in the high pressure. Yeah, he didn't play quarterback then, but he knows what it's like to go out there in front of these people, and that's why I've made this statement. You know, I don't care what the game is. If he doesn't play well, it's not because it's a big game. It's because he just didn't have a good day.
I understand that you do one of the better Bill Cowher imitations in the locker room. Can we see just a little bit of it?
Stick that jaw out just we still have a few more games. I want to be able to make those few little tiny little mistakes and not,
Good. That was a good choice.
Yeah.
Good decision right there. So I'll tell you what, he's going to be getting more experience as we talk.
Cordell Stewart's kind of a happy guy. Did you ever see the impression?
No, but he did promise, Cordell did promise that if they win the Super Bowl, we get it in the locker room after the game and cower, okay, Bill. But the amazing thing about Cordell Stewart, to me anyway, is that his mom died of cancer when he was 12 years old, and yet somehow he has become this confident person that is so together. He goes home at night. He's not out running the street. It's amazing how he's kept everything in perspective.
Joe, a couple of years ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was thought to be a disastrous situation. Neil O'Donnell takes him to the Super Bowl. He leaves. Cordell Stewart, with him at quarterback, they may be better off.
They may be better off, and I think some people second-guess that decision. Neil O'Donnell go. Me being one of them, I thought that was a big gamble. You go to a Super Bowl, you have a quarterback that can take you there. They let him go. And like you said, hey, gamble and go with Cordell Stewart, and I definitely was. I think it took a lot of guts, and it is panning out for him. It looks like they may have a guy that could take him to Super Bowls in the future.
Yeah, this guy is winning with the mistakes that inexperience brings to the table. First half of his ball games are showing up, throwing those interceptions, but because he's a winner and because he is a pure passer, a lot of guys that are versatile like he is don't have that pure passing arm. This guy does. I think he's exactly what Bill Cowher said, something special.
All right, guys, keep this in mind. A win by the Steelers next Sunday over Tennessee would clinch a home playoff bye for Pittsburgh. We will see them as the first half of our NBC doubleheader. The late game will feature either the Jets and Lions or the Chargers and the Broncos. And our NFL and NBC halftime activities continue.
Dateline Sunday. She said Bill Cosby was her father. Then she tried to blackmail him. Now Autumn Jackson is going to jail. But first, she talks to Dateline. Tonight at 8, 7 Central.
Together, they searched to find it.
I knew it was true.
Only together can they outrun it.
Let's get out of here.
Outgun it. And survive it.
Put him on the endangered species list.
From the creator of Jurassic Park and the Lost World. Congo, the network premiere, tonight on NBC. We are watching.
In today's sophisticated marketplace, the slightest glitch in the flow of information can cripple your business. Fortunately, one communications giant is fielding the solution. Whether your business is large or small, Bell Atlantic can help you expand your information pipeline, eliminating potential bottlenecks and ensuring a steady stream of success. Wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic. We'll see you there.
The final goodbye at Memorial Stadium at 6.
Being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame was one of my proudest moments. But visiting the hall in Canton, Ohio is every bit as much of a thrill. 5 buildings capturing the drama and emotion of all the great plays and players, to say nothing of the great coaches. The hands-on interactive exhibits are great fun. And this state-of-the-art turntable theater, Game Day Stadium, is an awesome experience. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. It's a real kick.
There's a land that has the colors of the world. In the year 2000, Sydney will bring these colors together. But you can discover their warmth right now. Sydney, Australia.
On the final game to be played here at Memorial Stadium at halftime, Jim Donovan along with James Lofton, the Baltimore Ravens lead over Tennessee 14-6. We take a look at the Coors Light halftime stats from the first half of play, and what those stats will show you is that the turnover is really a big factor in this ball game. 3 on the side of the Oilers. They turn it over 3 times, and the Ravens turn it over on their last play of the half, James.
Yeah, but Tennessee has been able to run the football, and if they stick with that, they can get something going here in the second half. They're only down by 8 points. Steve McNair hasn't had a lot of time to throw the football, but Eddie George has had holes to run through.
Michael Jackson fumbled at the 1-yard line. It went through the end zone and out on the last offensive play of the half. He's playing with a torn bicep muscle that could have affected that as Rodney Thomas keeps that kickoff right in the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. But that really was a critical play because he would have been at the 1-yard line. and James probably could have taken it in for a touchdown, and so they would have been looking at a 21-6 halftime lead.
Yeah, but the thing that I have a hard time figuring out is Michael Jackson, who is left-handed, has the ball in his left arm and then decides to move it to his right arm. And that's where the torn biceps is. So it's baffling to me, but obviously he knows what he's doing because he's down there. I never tried to run over anybody, so I didn't have that problem.
Big sigh of relief for the Oilers, though, to get out of that one. And now trying to battle back here, trailing 14-6, starting at their own 20-yard line. Eddie George, who walked out of the game in the second quarter with a little injury, is back in and in the backfield. And on the right side of the offensive line, it looked like Frank Wycheck left early, and that will cost the Oilers 5.
Offense, 5 yards, first down.
Early in the game, James, Steve McNair had the Ravens jumping across, but the last couple of times, it's been his own team.
Yeah, and late in the season, you don't have a lot to play for. Mentally, you'll get beat before you will physically.
Steve McNair, first half, 5 out of 12, just 47 yards. He threw an interception. Now they're back at the 15, and it's 1st and 15. McNair throwing, a lot of time, stretching out at the 32-yard line to try and pull it in as Chris Sanders, but it's incomplete.
And McNair had time to throw the football there. We talked about accuracy. When you have people open, you really do need to be able to stick the ball in what I call the framework of their body, from their waist to right below the neck. You throw the ball there, you're going to have a good chance of completing a lot of passes. Sure, you'd like your receivers to be able to come up with plays and make plays when they're stretched out. But on easy throws, when you have guys open, you really need to be active.
2nd down and 15. A lot of time for McNair. Larry Webster couldn't get him. There's a flag on the play. It's intercepted by Deron Jenkins. He's down at the 16-yard line. Again, a flag down in the secondary. And it's coming back. It's against the Ravens.
Illegal contact, number 52, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And if I am Marvin Lewis, the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, I'm furious on the sideline because they had made Steve McNair break the pocket. And once that guy breaks the pocket, all rules are off. The illegal contact, holding, grabbing, you can maul those receivers downfield. And he had broken the pocket.
I didn't really see too much contact there when he was on his coverage there. Well, that not only gives him the ball back, but it gives him a first down. And the ball is at the 20-yard line. Tennessee on first down. McNair throwing. And he connects this time with Chris Sanders. That looked like the same route on the first play of the third quarter when they incompleted pass to Sanders. But he gets that one out to the 30 and near another Oiler first down.
What the Ravens do not want to do, they don't want Steve McNair to get in a rhythm. When he goes back in that pocket where he feels comfortable, where he's able to bounce and throw, that time a 4-man rush, Boulware was the only guy who was even putting a little bit of pressure on him. Because they have so many starters missing from that front, I would really expect them to mix it up, bring more of the linebackers, try and get in Steve's face.
On first down, Eddie George. Maybe a yard to the 31. Mike Frederick is in on the tackle for the Ravens. George has had 88 yards rushing, most of them on 2 long runs today, and on both of those long runs, the Ravens were offside on the play, and he just went right through the middle and up into the secondary.
And you have to kind of tip your hat to Keith Washington, Larry Webster, and Mike Frederick. Guys who aren't normally in the lineup on that defensive line have done a pretty good job up front.
Play action to George. McNair running out of time, throws it away. As he threw it down low and incomplete. Chris Ward, 95, now a defensive lineman in there for the Ravens, got good pressure on McNair. All of a sudden, McNair looked down, and Ward was right there on his feet.
Yeah, but what I don't like what I saw downfield. I saw 2 wide receivers, didn't see a tight end out, no running back in the pattern. you know, they expect that play action to work. Play action only works if the running back is really piercing you. And you mentioned George has had 2 big runs, and both have come when they've been off sides and kind of disjointed defensively. But for the most part, those guys up front, the no-name guys, and Ward has added in there, they've done a good job in stopping the Oilers.
Timeout, Tennessee, and we'll be coming back right after this.
Everybody likes trucks. Not many companies in the world build customized products on the assembly line.
Okay. Oh, it's a Dash 13, yeah.
I would tell our competitors today, stay in your manual world. Don't think about utilizing technology, and we'll see you and where you are in about 5 years.
It's famous for hushing highways and reducing wind to a whisper. It's as comfortable and quiet as you want it to be. It's steering wheel mounted audio controls that let you live your life like a movie and score your own soundtrack. It's a 210 horsepower performance, and you've got front row seats. It's the RL from Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours.
She always did have a unique way of expressing herself.
The lines have a simple, architectural look. I've never seen anything like it.
She's changed the whole category.
She had a vision.
American Express treats me like I'm one of a kind. If you're a card member, you're an original.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours. By Warner Brothers, The Postman, starting Thursday, December 25th. By Miller Lite, now official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Texaco, a world of energy.
Back at Memorial Stadium, third quarter. Steve McNair called timeout, setting up a third down at 7 as he wanted to make sure he had the right play called. So Tennessee will have 2 timeouts left. Quarterback breakdown, McNair versus Zaire today. 6 for 15, 9 for 17 passing. Zaire got very hot at the end of the first half, and he's thrown for 2 touchdowns. 3rd and 7 for Tennessee. A screen pass set up in the middle. Caught by Michael Rowe. Or rather, Wycheck. Wycheck brings it out to the 50-yard line. Frank Wycheck out near midfield. 16 yards on the play and a first down.
A nice job by Steve McNair. He takes his initial drop, watch him in the pocket, 5 steps, and then lets the defense sift towards you. You know, Bullware comes around on his stunt, and he figures, I've got this guy. All I have to do is run him down. But the defensive line, they always get suckered in, and the quarterback has to do a good job of acting.
Looks like that timeout worked. They called the timeout, went over, talked it over, got the good play, and the pass catch by Wycheck gets them a first down out near midfield. Eddie George is wrapped up immediately. Chasing him down the line of scrimmage is Larry Webster.
You know, invariably, we talked about, you know, we spoke with Kevin Donnelly. You know, we passed along the word that Saragusa wasn't going to play. Well, when you watch James Jones on defense, you watch Tony Saragusa, Michael McCrary, Rob Bennett, you watch those guys on film, those are the guys you're going to play against, and you figure out their tendencies, and you worry about them, you stay up late, and all of a sudden they bring in some new guys. You don't know what these guys are going to do, and it makes it tough.
Eddie George lost a yard on that last play. 2nd down and 11. McNair throws, and Chris Sanders gets his hands up there and makes the catch out by the 35-yard line of Baltimore. 16 yards and a first down.
And Marvin Lewis is very frustrated because all of his guys stopped on that play. It was kind of a quick snap. They had what they thought they had Baltimore offside. They didn't. They snapped the ball early. Stepnowski does. But Steve McNair shows us his arm here. I mean, that's a rope. And from this series, we've seen that when they went in at halftime, they said, we can work on Deron Jenkins. He's given a lot of cushion, thrown 3 outs on that side. 2 have been completed.
First down now at the Baltimore 35-yard line. Wycheck in motion. Eddie George running. And pushes the pile down near the 32-yard line. As you saw the scores go by, the Miami-Indianapolis game, 34-0. Indianapolis leads. Miami gave up 31 points in the second quarter of that game, the largest amount in franchise history.
Well, it was 25 years ago that they had the undefeated team, right? What they did is they let that undefeated team, the 72 team, those old guys actually go up there and play against the Indianapolis Colts. That's the only thing I can figure out.
Second down and 8. George got a tough 2 yards on first down as Chris Sanders comes in motion. McNair firing. He's got a man wide open, and it's Sanders. And Sanders steps out inside the 15-yard line. Kim Herring comes over on the coverage. Good for 19 yards, and you were wondering, where's Chris Sanders, and he's appearing.
Yeah, but I think running Eddie George on first down for 2 and 3 yards is like a boxer throwing out that left jab. You jab, 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 and now Steve McNair is coming in with that overhand right to knock you out. And he's had 3 nice down-the-field completions. And Chris Sanders, we mentioned, has a lot of speed, and he can set guys up and really back them up. This is where they need to punch it in, find a way. This is where a big physical receiver would help out a lot.
Michael Rohn is in the backfield with Eddie George, who gets the ball. George cuts to the outside, inside the 10, and brought down near the 8-yard line. Deron Jenkins makes the tackle of Eddie George, who gets up, thinking he might have had a little alley to get something more out of it. And Deron Jenkins is getting up slowly after bringing George down.
And you see Chris Sanders is supposed to block him, but that run was supposed to go to the other side, and it is the right knee of Eddie George to the head of Deron Jenkins. And been around a lot. A knee to a head is one of the things where guys will get up, they'll be groggy, and Jenkins is from that old school. A lot of times a guy will get nicked up, he'll just lay down, relax, catch a little sun. Jenkins tries to get up on his feet the best that he doesn't want to get counted out. You know, they got to the 8th count and he staggered up. You know, if I'm the referee, I stop the bout right there, but he's going to walk off and come back later.
Well, speaking of a tough guy, next Saturday at 4 Eastern, it's the Ironman Triathlon. The ultimate test of endurance. Some of the best athletes in the world compete in a race that includes swimming, biking, then running a marathon in the Hawaiian heat. Just finishing is amazing. So it's the Ironman Triathlon next Saturday here on NBC.
I do my own Ironman almost every morning. I shower, and then I walk out and get the newspaper, and then I sit down in my chair.
2nd and 5. For Tennessee, trailing 14-6. They're at the Baltimore 8. Eddie George gets to the 5-yard line and gets pushed back. That's Ralph Staten coming up from the safety spot.
Gain of 3 on the play.
He got 3, and they'll be 2 shy of the first down.
You know, when you look at this Raven defense, it is well stocked for the future. Everybody knows that Bullware, you know, 1 sack away from tying the record. Jamie Sharper, the other linebacker. Then you go to Kim Herring. And Ralph Staten has really jumped out at her. He's the 7th-round pick, but he's the Ravens' 3rd pick in the 7th round. You know, they're just sitting there going, well, we got another pick, so who do we pick up? And this guy, from what I've seen today and seen on film last week, really looks like a player.
This is the 13th play of the drive on 3rd and 2. Eddie George, no, keeping it, McNair. And he slides down to the 2-yard line and should have a first down. The Ravens claiming Johnny Brady out with the ball, that McNair fumbled, but the officials rule him down. At that 2-yard line where they're standing, he should have it 1st and goal. What a nice fake there to George.
Yeah, a very nice fake. Such a good fake. It looked like it almost surprised Eddie George as if he was going to get the ball. But I'm surprised that Steve McNair slides, because when he starts to slide, he's supposed to be down there. That's the 3-yard line. They mark this ball at the 2-yard line. It is supposed to be where the slide starts. You see the guys come in and hit him. And you know, I think the officials were surprised that he slid, because when you slide, you're also supposed to be protected from the tacklers.
Well, they'll bring the chains in to make sure if he has the first down. From that spot there, he should have it by a yard. I mean, the spot was the 3, and it's at the 2. They've gone 78 yards on this drive. The Oilers trailing 14-6. Jeff Fisher trying to hold this one out here this afternoon, and then trying to get it going after that. next week when they take on Pittsburgh and end 9-7. But there's a lot of work to be done here. 64, Eric Norgaard, who caught a touchdown pass this season against Dallas on Thanksgiving Day, is eligible now. 64. First and goal. Eddie George pushes down near the end zone. No signal yet. He's not in. Second down.
If he's not in, he's about as close as he can get in. You know, you get a good push. Mentioned Norgaard there at the end of the line, and just bodies pushing against bodies, and you have Eddie George. You make one cut. There's not time to dip left, dip right. You make one cut. You try and get those shoulders square upfield and get across the plane of the end zone.
Michael Rohn is the blocking back in the backfield with Eddie George on second and goal. McNair to Eddie George. Didn't get it. In fact, he probably lost a yard. Ray Lewis again with a big defensive play.
I mean, it shouldn't surprise us, but in a way, it does surprise me. Ray Lewis, you know, at the combine, everyone wanted him to be taller. You know, he listed himself at 6'2" when he was coming out of college. I talked to Bill Parcells about it. I said, what do you think of Ray Lewis? He said, well, he could be taller, but it wouldn't make him any better of a football player. He's only 6 feet tall. And I actually think that leverage he has allows him to be a better player than if he were 6'4" or 6'5", trying to play in the middle.
So they're at the 2 on third and goal. McNair rolling around in trouble. Pumps one in there. It's incomplete. He was looking for Wycheck, who's looking for a flag, but he won't get one. It's fourth down.
Yeah, and I don't think he should ever win that argument along the goal line where it is physical. You know, you're only a yard down the line of scrimmage.
On fourth down, we do not see the field goal team coming in yet. And in fact, they're not coming in. They're staying on with the offense and go for it on fourth down.
And when you bring in the wide receivers, I wouldn't expect to see a pass here. But what you're trying to do, spread the defense out. You either use Eddie George on the draw or you use Steve McNair, who's your second best runner on the draw.
Fourth and goal, timeout, Baltimore. The Ravens turn around, and they call the timeout.
Baltimore. That is their first.
So we'll be back with fourth and goal from the 2 here at Memorial Stadium.
You can't back out now. We've been planning this for so long. Meet me. Promise?
It's classic style and a 200 horsepower VTEC engine that moves you like an emotion.
I knew you'd come.
Tuna sandwiches. Your mother doesn't think we'll catch anything.
It's the CL from Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours.
Waterburn, Australia. A true story. A man was prospecting behind his trailer home when he discovered a 61-pound nugget of solid gold worth $1 million. When it comes to retirement, you can depend on luck, or you can depend on us, Sun America. We specialize in retirement investments. Ask about our personal retirement portfolios, and don't leave your future to chance. Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Hello from Plank Road Field, where the guys are getting a little inspiration from Coach Lou.
We must win today. Losing is not an option. Do it for the love. But most of all, do it for the beer.
As we all know, the beer is Ice House. It's ice brewed, so there's never any watered down taste, just more of what you want in a beer. Thanks, and enjoy.
That boy's a locomotive.
Today on the NFL on NBC is there mutiny on the Raiders ship.
Such an uproar going on in the Bay Area. What's going on with the Oakland Raiders?
It's a complete disaster within that organization, Greg, and I don't think it's ever going to change unless Al Davis changes.
Don't miss the NFL on NBC next Saturday and Sunday at noon Eastern.
Marvin Lewis on the sideline, defensive coordinator. There's your score, Baltimore over Tennessee, 14-6. Fourth and goal from the 2. Oilers going for it. McNair rolling near side. Throws, it's deflected, incomplete. Ravens hold. watching the NFL on NBC.
The year is 2013.
The United States doesn't exist!
No law.
You are nothing but a drifter who found a bag of mail.
No future.
I challenge the leadership of the class!
No way they're going to stop a man from fighting to bring a nation together. Critics call it a most extraordinary film, an unforgettable adventure, an epic vision filled with adventure, excitement, and hope. Kevin Costner, The Postman, rated R, starts Thursday, December 25th.
I don't know why I'm spending all this money.
You're saying we never have to upgrade software?
Never. They automatically back up data, and they have virtually unlimited
storage capacity.
How much did we spend on computers last year?
28 million.
And you're saying this network computer is cheaper?
Yes, sir.
And costs less to maintain?
That's right.
Why didn't we buy these last year?
They, didn't exist.
Oracle, enabling the information age.
To some people, the word luxury means sophisticated styling. To others, it's innovative technology. Still others define it as pure performance. Since every Acura is designed with all of those qualities in mind, you're certain to find an Acura that satisfies your definition of luxury. Unless, of course, your definition is to own all six. Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours.
Tonight, startling footage brings you close enough to taste the fear. National Geographic's Great White Shark. 7/6 Central, NBC Tonight.
John Daly, Gary Player, Peter Jacobson, Chi-Chi Rodriguez, and more in a test to see who's best. The EMC Skills Challenge, next on NBC.
I like trying to give Steve McNair the run-pass option. What I don't like is limiting him to the short side of the football field, because you play into the Ravens' hands, and Keith Washington does a great job in elevating and blocking that pass.
First down from their own 2-yard line, and the Ravens stay on the ground with it, and they get nothing as the Oilers stack it up defensively. This is Baltimore's first possession of the second half. Tennessee, this ball game, look at the way this has gone for them. 16 plays, they get a field goal. 17 plays here in the third quarter, and they get nothing. That's discouraging for Steve McNair. His team still down by 8. Eric Zier to Bam Morris. Morris rubs off one tackle and gets out over the 5-yard line. Brought down on the play by Henry Ford. It will be third down.
You saw the determination at the end of the run from Bam Morris. Two guys come up to hit him. They both slide by. He remains on his feet. I'd done the boxing analogy once, but he was stunned there for a second, and he realized, I'm still standing. I need to just fall forward a little bit here.
I can never get enough of the boxing analogies.
I watched boxing last night.
Third down and 4. Zier to Derek Alexander. Incomplete. He was open at the 14-yard line, and so it's fourth down. They'll punt from their own end zone. The NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on NFL.com, the league's official website. Visit NFL.com for all of the scores and stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores in action, plus chat live with some of the NFL's biggest stars. It's all at NFL.com. Derek Mason has returned after getting injured in the first half on a punt return. Montgomery hits a line drive. He had a mild concussion in the first half, and now he's back. Takes the punt back into Raven territory at the 49-yard line. And that's where Tennessee will start, still trailing by 8 points. Here at Memorial Stadium, you're watching the NFL on NBC.
Nick, there is still one missile left. You must get to it before the others do.
It's a 200-horsepower engine, too audacious to be kept secret. It's advanced climate control, engineered to keep you cool, no matter what kind of pressure you're under.
Sounds pretty.
It's the TL from Acura. The true definition of luxury. Yours.
You just hold this and you know you're going to get a close shave.
Remington introduces the new shape in shaving.
The angle to the face, just right.
Dynamite body.
It looks like a sports car.
It's easy to maneuver. It's a Remington.
These side grips are a stroke of genius.
Now I can see what I'm trimming.
My old shaver felt like a block of cheese.
The shape was so cool. I got one for my husband.
I can't believe I'm in love with an electric. But look at this shave. My old shaver is history. Remington's new dual microscreen, built to shave incredibly close. And they guarantee it.
They give us heroes. They give us hope. They let us laugh and cry and fall in love. Movies touch us as few things can. Any technology that heightens the experience of watching movies at home makes life even more enjoyable.
DVD video from Philips Magnavox. Technology for the heart, the spirit, and the imagination.
My name is Anthony. I make it to midfield and back in 9.7 seconds. My friends think I'm lucky. I just think I'm fast.
The network of the Super Bowl. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
4:49 to go, third quarter. The Oilers down by 8. Eddie George in the first quarter ran 8 times for 70 yards. But since then, it's been a very quiet day, although it got a little better for him on that last drive down the field, but it didn't end well. No points. They're right at the 50-yard line. First down. Play action fake. Frederick. McNair got away from him. And he dumps the ball off, and it's caught up near a first down. Frank Wycheck brings it near the stick of the first down out at the 41.
And the ability to turn a negative into a positive is what Steve McNair has. And Frederick, clean shot on him. McNair steps out of the grass and is quick enough to be able to deliver the ball and deliver it with some touch. And you also have to know where your outlet guys are. I mean, you've been flushed, you spun around, and you know where your safety blanket is.
Well, it's second and very short. And Eddie George will get the first down and a lot more. He gets down to the 31 of Baltimore. Jamie Sharper teams up with Kim Herring. On the tackle, another Raven is down on the field. Back at the 40-yard line. And that's Larry Webster. And they are going to flat run out a defensive lineman.
And if they do get short on defensive linemen, what they do is they move Peter Bulwer, who played down when he was in college in a three-point stance his whole career. They move him to defensive end and just let him come after the passer and try and shut down the run with his quickness.
Well, last night, Eddie George remembers what it was like when he was at the Downtown Athletic Club. Last night, Charles Woodson of Michigan won the Heisman Trophy. But back in 1986, Vinny Testaverde, then of the University of Miami, he was the winner of the very, very deserved trophy. In 95, Eddie George, an Ohio State Buckeye, now wearing an Oilers uniform, rushed to victory in the Heisman voting. But last night, it was on the defensive side of the ball as Charles Woodson outpointed Peyton Manning to win it.
But, you know, you look at that, you watch it on television, the Downtown Athletic Club. You see all those paintings of the great players. And the thing I would worry about it if I had ever won it was would they put a good picture of me up. And I asked Eddie, I said, you know, have you gone back and seen your painting? He said, yes, I saw it. But when I went back, they had Rashawn Salam's name under my painting. You know, they move the paintings around a lot. And they had the wrong name. I guess he corrected them now.
First down, Tennessee. As Webster left the field, a little delay to Eddie George, runs it down inside the 30 and in back inside the 25. And maybe this is what you were talking about. Now, late stages, second half, getting near the fourth quarter, he's been pounding on you all game long.
And it was interesting that, you know, we're sitting up here 18 minutes to go in the ball game. We think he's had a quiet day. Well, he has 21 carries, 116 yards. If that's quiet, I'd hate to hear him start getting loud out there.
Second and 3. Again, the delay. But they're there to stop it. James Jones got him by the ankle, saying Keith Washington then helped him out with Ray Lewis.
It is a situation where, as a defense, where you are the defensive coordinator, Marvin Lewis, you basically pick your poison. And when you put 7, 8 guys up around the line of scrimmage, you tell the Oilers, we're not going to let Eddie George beat us. We're going to make Steve McNair earn it. We're going to cover your receivers one-on-one down the football field, but we're not going to give Eddie George the lanes to run through.
Larry Webster checks back in on the defensive line for Baltimore on 3rd down and 2. They'll let Eddie George try and get it for them, and I think he did as he buries his head and then swings around and dives over the 20-yard line. 1st down, Tennessee, and the drive continues.
You see the guys up around the line of scrimmage, but from your right, Peter Boulware has snuck back in from the left of the camera. Peter Boulware snuck back into the picture, so Steve McNair alertly calls the run away from Boulware.
1st down, Tennessee. The ball just inside the Ravens 20-yard line. Throws for Chris Sanders and hits him right on the 81, down to the 10-yard line, up near a 1st down again.
We talked about Sanders, and it's well documented that this guy walks, runs, even sleeps on the tip of his toes. It's very quick. He's not a big frame guy, but we've seen a willingness to go inside and make the tough catch today.
He has 5 catches today for 70 yards. Close to a 1st down. Let's see. Did they get it? Well, they are right there. They're about a length shot. Well, James, you know, the 2 times they've been down, really deep in the red zone, they've gotten a field goal out of it. They didn't get any points the last time. But now here they are, 2nd down and just a couple of inches to get a 1st down. Would you give a shot into the end zone because you have a little bit more room here?
Well,
knowing that on 3rd and a couple of inches,
I would still want to establish the run here, and I give Eddie George a chance to maybe pop one here. And I run at the area that has been vacated by Tony Saragusa, right over my left guard, Bruce Matthews.
5th in red zone scoring coming in, but nothing today as McNair with a flag down dives over the right side. That would give him the 1st down, but let's see the call.
Prior to the snap,
oh boy,
false start, right guard. 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, 2nd down.
Kevin Donnelly, the right guard, who gets flagged for the movement there. And I think that there's just so much movement along the defensive front from the Ravens. You know, it has to be awfully tough. You're down in that 3-point stance. You're listening to your quarterback bark out the signal, and here come these big, ugly guys creeping up at you. You know, hard to hold your composure.
2nd down and 6. McNair, way over the head of Derek Mason. He was standing at about the 6-yard line with Deron Jenkins guarding him.
Yeah, but Frank Wycheck is standing at the 10-yard line, and he had been lost in the coverage. There was no one around him. The only guy around him was the guy who was covering Derek Mason. But, you know, once again, we talked earlier, you know, we're going to try and blitz them in pass situations. That's the word that we got from Marvin Lewis, the defensive coordinator. And they're in a pass situation right here. This is not a run situation, so I would expect them to come after Steve McNair again. But you also need a spy to keep him from scrambling for a 1st down or a touchdown.
On 3rd and 6, McNair running. Nice move inside the 10 to the 5. Dives for the touchdown. What a run by Steve McNair.
And you talk about good calls offensively. That's a poor call on the defense for not having a guy to account for Steve McNair. And when you look at the stats coming into the ballgame, a guy who's rushed for over 500 yards, 6 yards a carry, and he is the next most dangerous weapon on the ground after Eddie George in this lineup. And you have to have a guy who's going to be accounted for.
The Oilers are going to go for 2 as they come up to the line of scrimmage. to try and tie the game. They are down 14-12. And they put Eddie George in motion. And he fumbled the snap, but got it back. But McNair spins and fights and gets down close, but did not get in. They'll remain 2 down. They fumbled the snap with a 2-point conversion, but tightened it up. 14-12 Ravens.
AT&T, it's all within your reach, presents Left in the Locker Room.
Part of what makes NFL films great is NFL films music. You're transported by it. It's drama, which is why one season we tried going with bigger, more dramatic tracks. Okay, so it didn't catch on, but it doesn't mean I'm not proud of every single person involved.
2 hours? All right, we'll be waiting.
What are you going to miss in school today?
Nothing. What are you gonna miss?
You want to see?
Weather outside is frightful.
Dad, you got email.
I did, didn't I? I got to get some clothes out. You want to help me?
If you have no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
New Pocket Net service, only from AT&T.
May I take your order, please? Spicy chicken sandwich.
Wendy's Spicy Chicken is made with Dave's own blend of pepper and spices. It has a spicy hit that'll warm you up.
Yes?
Whatever the weather.
I'll have what he's having.
Who are these people? They go to the strangest places, work in the tightest quarters, and gladly keep the oddest hours. Who are they? Forever probing and prodding, digging, exploring. Who are these people? They are Texaco, and what they do is find the energy the world needs to keep on running. Texaco, a world of energy.
You know, you can fool me the first time by running Steve McNair up the middle, but you cannot fool me the second time. They load up the middle. In addition to that, Steve McNair fumbles the snap, and then he fumbles the second time, so they have a 2-point conversion and 2 fumbles on the play.
But they did get the touchdown thanks to a great run by McNair. And the third quarter has been Tennessee's quarter. Time of possession, they've had it 13 minutes, 4 seconds, and they have 6 points to show for it. It's 14-12. Del Greco kicks off. Jermaine Lewis runs underneath it at the 12-yard line. And he's to the 40. To the Tennessee 40. To the Tennessee 38-yard line where Anthony Dorsett runs him down. 60 yards.
You know, last week, Jermaine Lewis had 2 punt returns for a touchdown. He had a touchdown reception, but we asked him about it, and we said, you know, people forget that I've also had a couple of kicks called back this year, a kickoff return and a touchdown reception called back.
There's the return of 89 yards. Then 66 yards followed that. They came in the same quarter. He pushes Benny Thompson to get that last block and then high struts it in for the touchdown. And now he returns this kickoff 60 yards, and they are at the Tennessee 38-yard line, first down. And they had to beckon Jermaine Lewis to get into the lineup on this pass play on first down, and then they throw it to him, and he's got it at the 30, up near a first down at the 28, down near the 27. Not happy is Jeff Fisher on the sideline. It's a first down for the Ravens at the 27-yard line as the third quarter has come to an end here at Memorial Stadium. We get set for the fourth quarter. Baltimore leading 14-12. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Dateline Sunday. She said Bill Cosby was her father. Then she tried to blackmail him. Now Autumn Jackson is going to jail. But first, she talks to Dateline. Tonight at 8, 7 Central.
Dodge Dakota owners are celebrating. A recent J.D. Power & Associates study ranked Dakota most appealing compact pickup.
But we believe this lease is pretty appealing, too. How do you add lots more muscle without breaking a sweat? Get a Magnum V6 at no extra charge when you buy a Dodge Dakota. So come, bulk up at the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
In today's sophisticated marketplace, the slightest glitch in the flow of information can cripple your business. Fortunately, one communications giant is fielding the solution. Whether your business is large or small, Bell Atlantic can help you expand your information pipeline, eliminating potential bottlenecks and ensuring a steady stream of success. Wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic. We'll see you there.
In a world of imitators, one has to look closely to find the original. Luckily, among 4x4s, an original bears these distinctive markings. Full-time four-wheel drive, uniframe construction, quadricoil suspension, and an available V8. Features found together only on Jeep Grand Cherokee. There may be imitators, but there is only one original. Now lease a 98 Grand Cherokee for just $359 a month. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
A religious protest, the story at 6.
Is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Jim Donovan along with James Lofton back in Baltimore as we start the fourth quarter. 14-12, the Ravens leading by 2 over Tennessee. Jeff Fisher has been on that sideline arguing with the referee Bob McElwee since the last play caught by Jermaine Lewis.
Well, Jermaine Lewis comes into the game late. They have their regular 11 on the football field with 2 tight ends. So the Oilers have a defense for that. Well, at the tail end of the 42nd clock, Jermaine Lewis sprints on, tight end sprints off, and now they have a mismatch because of personnel in the ballgame.
And the pass is good for a first down. They're inside the 30 of Tennessee. They give it to Van Morris that first down, and Joe Bowden hits him at the 25-yard line. Second down and 7. Morris seems to really thrive on the contact. Every time he gets up off the pile, he gets up smiling.
Now here's the prior play. You see Lewis coming in, and you see guys waving out. You know, we got the guy out there that we need to cover, but we don't have the right guys to cover him.
Second and 7, ball just inside the 25. As Zaire throws, Eric Green has it. Marcus Robertson can't bring him down. Inside the 10, it's first and goal. 16 yards.
I mentioned it before. You know, you're driving that little tiny car. What is it called? A spec? And it's snowing all over the place. The windshield wipers are going, it's fogged up, and then there's that big giant moose in the middle of the road. Eric Green, you know, he came into this league and set the league on fire when he was at Pittsburgh, and he is back at the top of the cream of crop of tight ends now.
First and goal at the 8-yard line. On first down, Van Morris is wrapped up by Henry Ford. The right defensive tackle got him right by the ankle and brought him down.
It's hard to run the football when you get quick penetration, and that's really the Oilers' game. You know, you have all the big guys for the Ravens, 320 pounds per man. You have Quentin Newyer who moved in at center. You have Wally Williams who moved from center to guard. But they're the big physical pounders. The Oilers are the quick guys.
Second and goal, now back at the 10-yard line. Zaire into the end zone for Alexander in the back corner. He couldn't get it. Third and goal. He laid that ball right out there.
Yeah, but he laid that ball out there too far. You know, Derek Alexander had to go around one guy, beat another guy. You know, at least it wasn't intercepted. I mean, Eric Zaire, he wants a touchdown. And the sun is far enough. We're only at the back part of that end zone. Would it be a factor?
Now it's third down and goal from the 10. Zaire will go to the other corner for Michael Jackson, but that's incomplete. So it's fourth down. George McCullough was on the corner coverage there on Jackson, and they will call him Matt Stover for a field goal.
And I think Eric Zaire got fooled by the coverage both times. As you saw, each time he tried to run what is called that fade route, a quick go by the wide receiver. There's a second guy back deep, and that time McCullough just took off and sprinted for the corner of the end zone before the ball was even thrown.
Stover today, 0 for 1, blocked from 50 yards away. This is 27 yards.
And I think Stover, who started the season at, #1 all-time, is now #2 all-time behind Chris Bonio. And he knew that when Bonio went from Dallas to Philadelphia, he'd have trouble kicking there. And Bonio hasn't had a great year, but he's still a couple of percentage points ahead of Stover.
So this is trying to give the Ravens a 5-point lead. And the kick got blocked again. Second of the ball game. Jeff Fisher's pumped on the sidelines. The Oilers blocked the second field goal attempt of the day. They got one from 50, and now this one from 27.
And we're talking, once again, quick guys beating big guys and blocking the kick.
Hey, Max. Why just sit around when you could have fun in the new Ford CX2?
Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Everywhere I go, your face I see. Every step I take, you take with me. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide.
The new Ford CX2. Grab life by the wheel. Max?
Hope my car gets fixed today.
And my sink. And my furnace.
And my lawnmower.
What? You idiot! You're gonna get us caught.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down,
Eddie!
make it a Bud Light.
That's weird.
What's weird?
Take a look.
We're getting money back.
I said it was weird.
How much?
$23.
Definitely cause for celebration.
With CD-ROM Intel Pentium processor with MMX technology and excellent sound.
Wait a second.
The new compact Presario notebook is the perfect computer for that multimedia application called life.
Want to toast some marshmallows?
The Presario notebook from Compaq.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Ericsson. Be ready for anything with an Ericsson cellular phone. And by Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be.
Gary Walker beats Ben Cavell right there, the inside gap in between the right guard and the center, and it's a quick spin move. Cavell turns his body in the hole instead of staying square.
First down from the 20-yard line. Derek Mason catches for short yardage out near the 23, but what a big swing in this game now, as Tennessee has come up with 2 blocked field goals, and now still only down by a couple of points instead of 5.
And you take those 2 blocked field goals, 3 and 3 is 6. You take the fumble that Michael Jackson has on the 1-yard line going in, another 6 points.
Yeah, another
that's
6.
12. Another point that he may have kicked, that's 13 points. They could have blown Oilers out. The Oilers are hanging around this ball game, and that could be trouble for the Ravens.
2nd and 7. McNair with all kinds of time, looking for Wycheck. It's incomplete. Staten tried to pick it off in the deep secondary at the 45.
Yeah, and nice underneath coverage by Ray Lewis. We hear about Ray Lewis a lot as a run stopper, a guy who has, closing in on 200 tackles. But this time, what he does is he keeps his body in between Frank Wycheck and the quarterback and doesn't give Steve McNair the lane to drop the ball in.
3rd down and 7. McNair, Wycheck dropped it. He would have had the first down at the 32-yard line. McNair put it right on his hands.
He would have had the first down and a lot more yardage after that. And, you watch Frank Wycheck play. You know, he played his collegiate football at Maryland, so, you know, he's had the ticket to pass out to this ball game. So his friends came to watch him play, and that ball just goes straight through his hands.
Which brings up 4th down. Reggie Roby to punt. Only his second of the day now, and Jermaine Lewis is back deep.
You know, Reggie's real close to his Santa side. He's putting on some pounds.
Flag is down as Roby punts. Lewis drifting back over the shoulder at the 20, all the way back to the 15. And out to the 24-yard line where the Oilers bring him down. A 57-yard punt, a 4-yard return, but a flag coming. It's motion against the Oilers.
Illegal motion, number 30, on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
That's going to be on Dorsett.
Yeah, and he just starts creeping toward the line of scrimmage a little bit. But after that, I mean, he really outruns the 2 guys who are assigned to block him.
Now remember last night, Jeff Fisher told us that to battle his guys getting blocked going downfield on those punts, they were going to put some motion in to try and get them away from those 2 defenders. And that time they did it, but he's flagged for it.
And we also asked him, we said, where do you punt the ball when you're kicking to Jermaine Lewis? He said, we want to keep the ball on the white. And that's the boundary. They want the ball either out of bounds or right on that boundary to pin him next to it.
So Roby will have to do it again. Now standing inside his 5, back at his 3-yard line. .53 left in regulation time. 14-12. The Ravens lead. They'll get much better field position now. He's up to the 40. Up to the 50. Jermaine Lewis, a 56-yard punt, 24-yard return. Ravens by 2 when we come back.
Hey, guys. Need a smile? Call Domino's.
Yeah.
The Domino's deep dish does the trick. An inch thick with cheese baked to the edges. And now at 3 toppings, $8.99. Any second, $4.99. But we deliver more than great pizza. At Domino's, we're delivering 1 million smiles a day.
Okay, Bongo, wave. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Come on, he's never gonna get it.
Will you look at that?
Yeah, finally learned to wave bye-bye.
The new redesigned Ford Ranger, the only compact pickup built Ford tough.
We're back at Erickson Stadium where we're down to the final seconds of the game and it's still tied. The kick's high. And
Ericsson mobile phones. Catch the excitement.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza, delivering 1 million smiles a day. Call for pizza now and share a smile during the game.
The anatomy of a punt return starts as these 2 guys at the line of scrimmage. Their job is to slow the gunner down. Now, he gets bogged up in traffic, and once they do that, they have accomplished their job. They've given their return man, Jermaine Lewis, a free run to get started on the play. That's all it takes. 2 guys blocking 1.
From the 50-yard line, Cam Morris gets to the 49. That's it. It's the 4th time this afternoon that the Ravens have had field position at either the 50 or better. Gain of 2, 2nd down and 8.
You know, and Ted Marchibroda, you can see a little bit of the worried look on his face because, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, they've had scoring opportunities. And you don't want to give the road team a chance to hang around in the ball game and knock you out late in the game.
2nd and 8, Zier juggled and incomplete. Eric Green couldn't hang on at the 48-yard line. Lenoy Jones was over on the coverage, and it's 3rd down and 8. Zier looks to the sideline as the next play. Well, you're right, James. Tennessee has just been hanging around in this game. Now within 2.
And you have Derek Alexander lined up on McCullough. McCullough, a guy who wasn't even on the roster before this week.
On 3rd down. He's in trouble in the pocket. There's a flag down. The catch by Jermaine Lewis. He's down inside the 30-yard line. 19 yards if the play holds. But instead, the Ravens held. And that really hurts because that will march them back now. Instead of having the 1st down inside the Tennessee 30-yard line.
But to Zier's credit, you go ahead, you see the flag, you continue, you make the play, because if you don't make the play, it's 4th down. Now at least they have another crack on it, even though it's a 3rd and, 18?
No, we didn't get a number on that one.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're trying to protect somebody. And I would think that since we have our cameras on Wally Williams, he was probably the guilty party.
So it is 3rd down and 18. The ball is at the 41-yard line. Zier to Bam Morris, and he can't hang on to it.
And early in the ball game, in the first half, we saw Ernest Biner in at that running back position, and he is actually the more accomplished receiver of the 2. They also have Jay Graham, the rookie that they got from Tennessee, who has been injured. They think that he has a very bright future. Now, to Bam Morris's defense, that ball was tipped, and it's tough to catch a ball when it changes its flight.
Montgomery to punt, standing back at his 27-yard line, and Derek Mason waits for it. It's a short punt. He runs up to it, catches it at the 20, and gets ripped down back beyond the 20. Tennessee ball after a 37-yard punt. They trail by 2. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Okay, Bongo, wave. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Come on, he's never gonna get it. Finally learned to wave bye-bye.
The new redesigned Ford Ranger, the only compact pickup built Ford top.
Hey, who's that?
She's here to meet with the big guys.
On a weekend? She must be a big client.
I think it's their life insurance agent.
Huh.
Have you heard from the quiet company? Northwestern Mutual Life.
Get ready to get creative. Get into a Rebel G. Go beyond snapshots. Experience the ultimate rush.
Cool.
Rebel G and only EOS lenses from Canon.
And so, the prince entered the sleeping castle, breaking the spell as Hansel and Gretel came upon the evil witch's cottage.
Tinkerbell helped rescue the lost boys from the pirates, and they all...
Now you can buy children a lot of happy endings, because every time you use Visa, we'll contribute to Reading is Fundamental, dedicated to helping children learn to read. So please use your Visa card, because every child deserves a good beginning.
Jack climbed down the beanstalk, narrowly
Visa,
escaping.
it's everywhere you want to be.
In the heart of the African jungle, something has evolved.
Feel that?
Feel what? It's almost human.
Never saw an animal move like this.
Because it's smart.
What the hell?
And it's deadly. From the creator of Jurassic Park, Congo, the network premiere tonight on NBC.
Back in Baltimore, 10:22 remaining in the final game to be played here at Memorial Stadium. And now let's take a look at the Miller Time game summary. Ravens holding on by 2. McNair has not thrown a touchdown pass. He's run one in. Zier has thrown 2 touchdowns. The unexpected, Houston blocking 2 Matt Stover field goals. Eddie George on first down. Boy, he had to run a long way to just get a couple of yards there.
And you mentioned the unexpected with the 2 blocked field goals. You know, if by chance the Oilers go up in this ball game and you have to line up to kick a game-winning field goal, I mean, what type of doubt is in your mind that you can even protect well enough to get the kickoff after you've had 2 blocks in the ball game?
2nd down and 8 for Tennessee. They finish up the regular season next week against Pittsburgh at home. Eddie George with 123 on the day. McNair throwing. Davis is open, but he lunges up in the air and can't get down with it as Ralph Staten comes up from the safety spot to make another play.
Yeah, but what you're seeing from Steve McNair in the Tennessee Oilers offense is the deep pass, and you don't find a lot of teams who will throw this deep corner route, and the ball hangs up in the air a little bit. And Ralph Staten, you know, he's making a statement. Last week, the 2 interceptions. This week, the big hit earlier on Eddie George, and he is going to be a guy, when you play against him in years to come, where you'll locate where he is in the secondary before you cross the middle.
3rd down and 8. Play clock down to 1, and they just get it off. McNair pulls it down, and then he's going to get hit. The ball pops loose. The Ravens have it at the 15.
I would venture to say that Keith Washington grew up watching Lawrence Taylor play football on Monday night, and the one thing that Lawrence Taylor did just better than anybody when he was with the Giants, not only sacked the quarterback, but stripped the football. And you see kind of the tomahawk chop there to knock the ball out of McNair's hands, and that's a huge turnover for the Baltimore Ravens.
Washington with the strip, causing the fumble. James Jones with the recovery of the McNair fumble. 4 turnovers now for Tennessee, and Jones is still down on the ground at the 15-yard line where he recovered the ball. 3 of the 4 turnovers have been fumbles for Tennessee. And Jones is getting up. Gets a hug from Bam Morris. NBC tonight.
First, from National Geographic, the great white shark. Then, after Dateline at a special time, from the creator of Jurassic Park and The Lost World, the network television premiere, Congo 9, 8 Central.
That's coming up tonight. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown, Derek Alexander.
Play receiver. The Baltimore Ravens have Michael Jackson, Jermaine Lewis, and maybe their most explosive guy, Derek Alexander. You saw the graphic, 8 touchdowns for the season. You know, you can game plan to stop one guy. Great move to the outside, but how do you stop a 3-headed beast?
James Alexander did a great job dragging those feet, didn't he?
Very nice job. And when I was out at practice the other day, Alexander and Michael Jackson have these purple shoes that they wear for practice. Now, they're not allowed to wear them in the game. It'd be a $10,000 fine every game that they played in. But these guys know that they're a special group. They need to get Jermaine Lewis a pair of those purple shoes.
Stover's extra point is good. That stretches out the Ravens lead. 21-12. Baltimore with 9:20 to go. This is the NFL on NBC.
On Saturdays, your customers can receive 2-day packages from FedEx for an extra $10.
On Saturdays, your customers can receive 2 to 3-day packages from Priority Mail for no extra charge.
On Saturdays, your customers cannot receive 2-day packages from UPS. Sorry.
So, for the holidays, what's your priority? Switch to Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
If you got a beard, we've got your number. The adjustable Maverick Beard and Mustache Trimmer with 6 different settings. Man, does this do a number on beards. Maverick from Norelco.
Still shaving with blades? We know how you feel about that. The Norelco Reflex Action Razor. Anything closer could be too close for comfort.
You say either, I say either.
I say neither, you say neither. Either,
Either,
neither.
neither.
Let's call the whole thing off.
You like potato, I like potato.
I like tomato, you like tomato. Potato, tomato.
Tomato.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Call everything off and go exploring in a Ford Explorer.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing a bushel of fun. Now the jingle hop.
The top 4 teams of the 97 playoffs take the floor. Christmas Day at 2:30 Eastern on NBC.
One of the advantages to playing on grass as opposed to playing on AstroTurf, when you drag your feet on grass, actually the grass gives a little. You see the grass being pulled up by his toe drag.
Rodney Thomas from his own 5. And he runs it out over the 30 to the 31-yard line. Jamie Sharper on the tackle for the Ravens. There's Derek Alexander, who catches the touchdown pass. Just worked his way back into the lineup. He was in the doghouse and had been benched. Got back into the lineup in the second quarter of last week's game against Seattle. Made 6 catches. Had a 92-yard pass play in that game. And he catches the touchdown pass here today.
And also, he is a free agent after this season. And he is one of the hot commodities when you look around the league at free agent wide receivers. He has size, speed, strength, and great skill in terms of route running. We saw him bend the corner to the outside on that post pass.
First down, and Tennessee is now down 21-12. They have the ball just at their over their 30 at the 31-yard line with Eddie George in the backfield. And they still try the running game, and George will lose yardage. Deron Jenkins comes up and makes the tackle of Eddie George. Well, now you're down, James, 21-12. Looking for lightning there to have Eddie George break one, but that clock starts to keep running on you, too.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier, about Eddie George being the jab. Steve McNair having to provide the knockout punch with that overhand right. Well, he's had time to throw the football, but he hasn't been able to come up with a big play offensively.
Second down at 12, a draw play to Eddie George. Over the 35, out to the 37-yard line. Cornell Brown, the linebacker, 51 on the tackle of Eddie George. Still shy of a first down. It's 3rd down and 3. Clock running, 8:12 to go. And they need 2 scores. He goes short for Sanders, and Antonio Langham goes over the back of Sanders and gets all ball and knocks it away, and Tennessee has to give the ball back.
Great timing by Antonio Langham, because what you're taught as a defensive back is you put one hand slightly on the back. You really do put it on the back, and then you come in with the other hand. This time he comes with the left hand. The right hand is just slightly on the back. And what the officials are looking for is if you grab and pull that receiver and twist him. And Langham doesn't pull him. He just lays out and bats the ball away with his left hand.
Jermaine Lewis set to receive the Roby punt. Fair catch. Inside his 15-yard line. After the game here on NBC, it's the final day of the ENC Skills Challenge. That's coming up. John Daly, Peter Jacobson, Chichi Rodriguez, and more show off their shot-making skills in a variety of situations. And that's the EMC Skills Challenge coming up next here on NBC. There is a flag down on the play.
I thought it was E equals MC squared. They got something different in this skills challenge.
Yes.
That doesn't apply to physics. Yeah, because the way that they hit the ball, they don't take the normal rules of physics in. 'Cause I know the harder I swing, the better the ball.
Well, Jeff Fisher's in a predicament right now. 21-12, down by 9. That's what's left. 7:45. And the flag goes back, marching the Ravens inside their 10.
That's just guys planning their offseason. You know, Brady's saying, I'm going on a cruise. The other guy's going, well, I think I'll join you. You know, what cruise line are you going? They're just trying to get a chance to talk. There's no, bad feelings going on the football field. Trust me.
So now Zaire's job is to hold on to the football, use some of his clock, and preserve the 21-12 lead. And Van Morris will have a big part of that, too, as he runs it out for short yardage. Turnovers and the Ravens' ability to cash in on them.
Yeah, and you might say, well, they were lucky. They picked the ball up when we dropped it. But to be opportunistic, first you have to create the opportunity. So they created turnovers, and then they're able to cash them in. And the two big ones, the one on the punt early in the ball game where they take it in for a touchdown, and then they cause a fumble down there when they strip Steve McNair of the football, and then they take that one in for a touchdown.
Clock running, 7:11 remaining. Tennessee has had trouble holding onto the ball against the Ravens in the two games. They lost to them earlier, 36-10. Van Morris carries off the left side out to the 10-yard line.
And if you're the Tennessee Oilers here, the first guy in makes the tackle. The second and third guys are trying to strip the ball. I mean, you're trying to pull that arm off his body and get that ball to fly out at this juncture of the game. Because the only way that they can get back in it is with a quick score. And to do that, they can't have to go 65 or 70 yards to get it. They need a turnover down in this portion of the football field.
The Ravens have been terrible on third down today. 3 for 10. They're 3rd and 7 now. 6:24 to go. The pass to Michael Jackson. He's got it. And that's a first down over the 20. 11 yards on the connection there.
It is just a matter of personnel. Steve Jackson, the normal starter, is out of the lineup. So you have McCullough in the lineup, and he has his hands full with Michael Jackson, a guy who has Pro Bowl type ability. And once again, it is the big receiver theory. He actually hits them before the ball gets there, but it's like a little fly, flying into, those big biceps you have. It just bounces right off.
Thanks for noticing. 5:40 to go. And they're going to throw again, and he's going to throw it down into the ground as he rolled around to the right with Anthony Cook chasing him.
Yeah, and I see Bob McAwee looking to see was he out of the framework of the tackles, because, he's checking out, where was that ball thrown? And still that ball is supposed to approach the line of scrimmage or go near. It's supposed to go outside of this. If he gets outside of that, then he can throw the football away. You see him, he's dropping straight back. He's getting close. He's outside that area, and he throws it at the feet of Van Morris.
Now he stopped the clock on the incompleted pass with 5:38 to go here in the fourth quarter. To Van Morris. And Van brings it out to the 24-yard line.
And if I'm Jeff Fisher, I'm either going to use a timeout here. If they run the ball again on third down, that would be my chance to use a timeout and stop this clock, because, it's one thing to have timeouts, but you don't want to have them while you're walking into the locker room when the game is over. You want to use up all your resources to try and give your team the best chance to win.
Third down at 7. 5 minutes to go right now. Zaire, and they can't hang on. Jermaine Lewis had the middle of the field out over the 35-yard line. It would have been a first down, but Darrell Lewis was defending, and they'll have to give the ball back and punt it away.
And Zaire and Jonathan Ogden at the tail end of the play, were rushing to their local official They wanted a pass interference call here, but it's just close coverage, and he actually has hold of his left arm. He won't let him get that second hand back to catch the ball.
So Montgomery coming up on punt number 6 on the day. Derek Mason is back deep. Good punt by Montgomery, driving Mason back inside his 25. Gets hit by McLeod, still running, and McLeod comes back and makes the tackle back at the 20-yard line. 54-yard punt. He loses 2 on the return.
You know, and you won't, read it tomorrow in the headlines, but Greg Montgomery and his ability to punt the ball today. Number one, the first punt of the ball game gets mishandled. They recover it, and that one, you nail a big-time punt when you really have to drive the Oilers back in their territory. Not only does he have the distance, but great hang time from Montgomery, and a guy who used to line up and play for the then Houston Oilers.
Montgomery, thumbs up. He got the job done. Driving Tennessee back to the 21-yard line. 1st and 10 with 4:39 left. The Oilers are down 21-12. They have 2 timeouts left. McNair hit the official. He was looking for Rodney Thomas, and he hit the official right over the middle. It is not going well.
No, it is not going well. This will not be a banner day for Steve McNair. He's looking downfield, his pressures, nobody there, the lane open, and he tries to dump the ball to Rodney Thomas. The official is right there in the way.
2nd down and 10. McNair only 1 of his last 9 if you look at his passing numbers on the day. The delay to Rodney Thomas, and Thomas streaks up the field out to the 30-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. Eddie George over on the sideline.
And I think this is not a mistake, but this is what they do in their pass-type 2-minute offense. They bring in Rodney Thomas, a guy who they feel like maybe a little bit of a better receiver than Eddie George. But normally it's because Eddie George has been carrying the ball so much. And they had Ronnie Harmon when this season started. And Ronnie Harmon's in the top 3 or 4 all-time in running back receptions. Well, Ronnie Harmon's no longer on this team. So those duties of the receiver running back have fallen on the shoulders of Rodney Thomas, and it's left Eddie George on the sideline. If I'm Eddie George, during the offseason, I politely talk to Jeff Fisher and say, I want to play every down.
Having trouble getting the chain stretched out here. You see where they are. They get the first down. 1st and 10 for Tennessee. 4:16 left. Have to wait for the markers to get over there, and also the official has to pick up something that was left by one of the members of the Chang gang. So that's why the delay right now. Here we go. Wind that clock, and it's running. McNair, a lot of time. Sanders open. He's got it at the Baltimore 45-yard line. Kim Herring comes over on the coverage. 25 yards on the pass play.
And if you're looking at the progression of the play, I mean, he looks left for the longest, then down the middle, and he comes back to Chris Sanders almost as an afterthought.
First down, short pass, wide check. Straddling the sidelines, goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Tackled by Donnie Brady. 3:29.
If you're the Tennessee Oilers, when you line up as an offensive line, you have to locate Peter Boulware. Guy, 11.5 sacks this season. He's the premier pass rusher for them, and right now he's lined up over John Runyon. And what did he tell us about Runyon? Little problem with speed rushing.
Second down, 2. Herring came up on a blitz, shovel pass though, he got it off. Wycheck makes the grab on it, but it's back at the 36-yard line for virtually no gain on the play. And the clock keeps running too. Ray Lewis sniffs out that play. Jeff Fisher saying, hurry up, get him up to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but you have Ravens who are slow getting up off the field, and there's no reason to take this much time on the clock. You know, granted, you want to convert this, but you're also in 2-down territory.
Third down and 2. The ball is at the 36-yard line. McNair 3 for 3 on this drive. Before the drive, he was 1 out of his last 9. Thomas is the motion man. McNair to the middle. Mason had it, couldn't hang on. He dropped it at the 23-yard line. So it's 4th down. They must go with 2:42 left.
You know, there are drops, and then there are drops. And this is a drop. You know, he's right over the middle, takes his eye off the football. And you know, he's not concerned about being hit. Because Mason is a tough physical guy. We saw him. He had what you described as a mild concussion. And obviously that's when it's on somebody else's head. But he's back in the ballgame. He has to make that play.
Here it is, 4th down and 2. Down by 9 points. He's going to run it. He's going to get the first down. Down to the 30-yard line. Boy, there was lots of indecision. I mean, he wanted to throw it. He was trying to decide, do I have enough to run it? And he did.
But when I watched that play, I mean, you put a heavy load on Steve McNair's shoulders to pick that up. And if you're going to say, Steve McNair, you're the guy, then you put your best 11 guys on the field. And let's get back to Eddie George standing on the sideline right now. Now, I don't know how accomplished the receiver Rodney Thomas is. He only had 12 receptions coming into the ball game. Eddie George had 7. I mentioned Ronnie Harmon, who's no longer on the team. He was the really expert at this. I put my best 11 on the field, and my best player is Eddie George.
They need 2 scores. They have 1 timeout left, having used a timeout here. Eddie George team all the way now. Not discouraged that he's on the sideline, urging his offensive unit on. But he's back to the sideline, and as James mentioned, Rodney Thomas stays in.
And Eddie George mentioned that after his freshman year, what was he, the 3rd-string tailback, the 4th-string fullback, and he said after that Citrus Bowl, I need to find a way to get on the football field. I think situations like this will make Eddie George say, okay, during the offseason, I run, I lift weights, I do all this stuff to get better. If I become a better pass receiver, there's no way they can take me off the field.
He'll never be off the field again. 2:31 left. On the last game ever here at Memorial Stadium, and the Ravens trying to hang on to make it a winning last game for them. McNair, flush. Thomas catches. Ooh, he got a big hit at the 21-yard line by Ray Lewis.
Yeah, you look up anytime there's a big hit with somebody in purple, I can bet you dollars to donuts. I don't know what that means, dollars to donuts, but Ray Lewis is going to be around the pile.
2nd down and 1. Wycheck right at the 20. John Williams makes the tackle. We have 2 minutes remaining. Down to the 2-minute warning. Baltimore by 9 when we come back to Memorial Stadium.
What do you see? Just a bunch of stuff from Staples.
Brother Label Maker. I could use that. A writer, Brother Fax. Oh, a Brother Typewriter. A water gun.
Busted.
Get Brother products at guaranteed low prices and 7,000 other great gift ideas. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
How could anything this breathtaking be created from a $199 printer? Canon's BJC 4300 color bubble jet printer. See it, and you'll believe it.
Enterprise rent a car for my trip? Looks expensive.
It's not expensive, Ma.
They pick us up? Sounds expensive.
Pickup's free, Mom.
Well, if it's not expensive, why didn't I get a convertible?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Happy holidays from your friends at Miller. It's Miller time.
Next Saturday at noon Eastern on the NFL on NBC, Brett Favre and the Super Bowl champion Packers face the Bills. Then next Sunday, a big doubleheader. First, Cordell Stewart and the Steelers meet the Oilers. Then Broncos Chargers or Jets Lions or regional action. The NFL on NBC regular season finale next weekend.
Back at Memorial Stadium, here's your situation. Ravens leading 21-12. 2 minutes to go. Timeouts become so crucial now. The Oilers only have one left. The Ravens with two. They don't want to stop the clock at all, though. First and 10. The ball is just inside the 20-yard line of Baltimore. 10th play on this drive. They have to get 2 scores. Into the end zone for one of them, for Willie Davis. Too far. Incomplete. Stops the clock with 1:55 left.
McNair tries to pump fake to get the defense to bite up. He does get Willie Davis just barely behind the secondary, but not enough room to drop it in for a touchdown.
James, here we are, 19-yard line. If they don't get in and they come up 4th down, do you kick? You need 2 scores. Do you kick a field goal?
You have to put the point on the scoreboard, then you try an onside kick and get the ball back.
Davis is in motion, 2nd down and 10. McNair fires. He has his man inside the 10-yard line.
You know, they should already be on the ball. I mean, really running up there to get on. There has to be a certain sense of urgency, and Steve McNair has to get them up on the ball.
Derek Mason on that catch, 1st and goal. He fakes, throwing it into the ground, and then throws it into the bleachers. He actually hits the goalpost.
I like it. Like you get an A for effort, and maybe a C- for execution. And then we saw this play with Dan Marino in the middle.
Right.
You know, he did that, faked it into the ground, then he threw deep. I don't think Peter Boulware liked the fact that he was faking him out there.
The Marino one went for a touchdown, didn't it, against the Jets? 1:30 left. And only one timeout.
This is when you would like to have a big 6'3", 4-inch receiver throw that ball up high and let him go get it.
Into the end zone for a wide check, and it's batted away by Ralph Staten. And now it's 3rd down.
Right at the goal line, and we talked about, you know, you're on the 7-yard line, you only have 17 yards to work with. The ball is thrown right at the goal line. You think that wide check gives you that big physical presence. Well, he's not quick enough to break free of Staten in this limited area.
9 for 17 on the day. On 3rd down are the Oilers with 1:25 left. Showing blitz. Here they come. He throws to Sanders with some blocking to the 5. He dives right at the goal line, and they give him the touchdown. One official raised his hands and said touchdown. Now a conference.
Well, at least the clock is stopped, and if you're the Oilers, you call the play in case you don't get in, which they haven't, and you get going. Jeff Fisher's going to call timeout.
So they said touchdown first, and then they had a mini conference and said no touchdown. They want to get the timeout called, and finally do with 1:06 left.
And they lost about 12 seconds on the
really
clock right there.
At that stage, that really hurts you, especially when you don't have any more timeouts after using this one. Did he get in? The ball is right on the goal line right there.
I like the call. It's the old college screen. Try and get a couple of guys out in front of the wide receiver. You know, that ball touches the the chalk. And if I'm not mistaken, you touch the chalk, that's a touchdown.
And the official right on that side went up with the arms then, but then they marked the ball right on the half-yard line. And remember now, coming up, it's 4th down.
And very seldom do you see, them put their arms up for a touchdown and then retract it. Quite often they're trying to find, is the guy in the end zone with the big pile. Obviously now number 27 is back in the ball game, and there's no question. But he's not in the ball game. This is the biggest surprise that I've seen from the Tennessee Oilers.
4th down and goal from inside the 1. McNair keeps it. And this time, they say he's in. Touchdown, Tennessee. With 1:03 left.
Touchdown Oilers. And that play only took 3 seconds off the clock. You can see everyone crowding the line of scrimmage for the Baltimore Ravens. And McNair just submarines and gets the ball just barely over the line.
And on a 4th down play, McNair goes in for his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. He has 50 yards rushing in the game. Extra point try by Al Del Greco. It's 21-18 right now. The kick is good. 21-19 with 1:03 left. Tennessee has no timeouts left, and an onside kick is in the offense.
And I could very easily, in the years to come, see Steve McNair passing for 3,000 yards and rushing for 1,000 yards.
For 1,000 yards?
It's only, 65 yards a game or something like that. You get a lot of spare running backs who end up with 1,000 yards. Steve McNair, he now has close to 600 yards for the season, and that hasn't been an emphasis in their ball game.
Really a tough guy. As you look at him on the bench, and he just wants that ball back one more time. Really a tough guy. Imagine in the 41-14 loss to the Bengals, a game that was decided by halftime. Actually decided almost at the start of the 2nd quarter. With about 5 minutes to go, they said, come on, why don't you come out of the game? He said, no, I'm staying in. I started it. I want to finish it. And he's just a good, tough leader for them. The Let's Go Ravens chant around Memorial Stadium. The onside kick is coming up. The Good Hands team is up, stretched along the 40-yard line. For the Ravens, there they are, Kinchin, Green.
They have all 11 guys up within 20 yards of the ball.
Del Greco. Loose ball. Still loose. Jeff Fisher over there on the Oilers sideline saying they have it. But no indication yet. Usually by now someone's pointing and saying that they have it. Now the Oilers are saying they've recovered it, and they have. With 1 minute to go. Terry Killens comes out of the pile with the football, James, and so it is Oiler ball.
And Killens gets to redeem himself, because remember the punt early in the ball game? Killens is the guy who the punt actually strikes. And Killens touches this ball before it has gone 10 yards, so the officials missed calling a penalty on that, and Killens is able to pull it out from everyone else around the bottom of that pile.
He gets the congratulations on the sideline, and he has given Steve McNair exactly what he wanted, the ball back.
You see the 40-yard line where all the Ravens are standing. Right there, Killens touches it, but maybe it's simultaneous touching because the Raven player had come across that line and tried to touch it also.
And once they came out of the pile with the ball, Killens had it, and it was Tennessee ball. Injured Raven down on the field. It's a left leg. With 1 minute to go, Baltimore 21, Tennessee 19. The timeout situation, Tennessee, they have none left. Trying to get his team over the hump in what has been a battle right since the start of the game. And get them over 500. They are 7-7 now. And he comes out to check on the injured Baltimore player. Ted Marchibroder, who has been involved since the Ravens came to Baltimore in so many close games. Disappointed Scott O'Brien, the special teams coach, standing alongside, that the ball has gone over on the onside kick and been recovered by Tennessee. Now remember, coming up after this game on NBC, it's the final day of the EMC Skills Challenge. So you'll watch John Daly, Peter Jacobson, Chichi Rodriguez, and more as they show off their shot-making skills in a variety of situations. That's what's coming up next, the EMC Skills Challenge here on NBC.
Now, I figure they're going to drive for distance. Little 90-yard chip shot to see who's closest to the pin. Maybe you can come out of the sand trap. Maybe putt, like you do at the old putting green. But, and here's Al Del Greco. He's one of the top golfers around, and this game may come down to whether or not they can get him close enough to attempt a field goal.
Could be a long one, too. The injured Raven player, now a stretcher coming out.
It appeared to be Nate Singleton. You hope that they're doing this for precautionary measures. You never like to see a guy carted off the field on a stretcher. You love it when a guy is able to get on his feet and walk off under his own power.
Well, they had his left leg positioned. And are now getting set to remove him from the playing field. Eddie George and the Oilers. Will Eddie George be back in the offensive set? He wasn't on that last drive as they came down the field. Rodney Thomas, number 20, who's talking with Steve McNair there, was the player that the Oilers used for his receiving ability. And George was a spectator on the Oilers sideline.
Well, if you are unable to get the ball out of bounds, you have essentially time to run 3 plays in the middle of the field. You throw a pass 15 yards, get up, either spike the ball or throw another play where you can get down. They need to get to about the 30-yard line to be able to kick a field goal. So from where they are, they need to gain 30 yards.
James, this has been a long delay now as they are carrying Nate Singleton off. Have they set up the whole drive? Are they able to go how many plays deep on this?
Well, because you can call so much of your offense from the line of scrimmage, and not only call it from the line of scrimmage, but be able to call plays on the run. You've completed a play 15 yards down the field. You communicate to your offensive line what the play is. You might say 86, 86. They can line up, get on the ball. Then you can yell out to the receivers what it is. And that way you don't waste all your time making sure everyone's set and getting at the line of scrimmage.
A minute to go. 2 points down. McNair's first pass is caught, but Wycheck spins and fights and gets out of bounds after picking up about 5 yards out to the 47-yard line. Donnie Brady was on coverage for Baltimore. 54 seconds left.
I don't think that the Ravens are going to give him the sideline, and at some point, Steve McNair is going to have to test the middle of the field, and that's between the numbers. You're going to have to throw something 20, 25 yards right down the middle.
Derek Mason into Ravens territory. That's a first down at the 47-yard line. No timeouts left. Get right back up to the line of scrimmage. Now at 40 seconds as they set the change. McNair, he is sacked. The ball And it's recovered by the offensive lineman, Brad Hopkins. Back at the 50-yard line.
And you have the clock stopped momentarily because the quarterback was sacked. Now, as soon as the ball is set and ready for play, they'll wind the clock up. You hear the fans reacting adversely, but that's the rule.
Now it starts, 24 seconds, and he throws one into the ground and stops it with 22 seconds left. No timeouts.
Yeah, and the one thing that Steve McNair could not do was to take a sack. You have time to throw the ball in the pocket. You have to pull the trigger immediately. Watch Peter Boulware come from the outside. He dances, he darts back inside, and he's there to help apply the pressure. He's only going to get half a sack on that one. Maybe Jones gets the whole thing. See Del Greco warming up on the sideline, waiting for his chance.
A little fouled up right now are the Oilers receivers as to who is going to line up where between Sanders and Mason.
Now, if they're going to try that, play where you throw it all the way down to the goal line, it's premature for that. With 22 seconds on the clock, you still have time to complete a 20-yard pass over the middle, run everyone up to the line of scrimmage, spike the ball, and still get Del Greco on for a field goal attempt.
22 seconds left. It's third down at 16.
We see fourth down on the marker, though.
Yeah, fourth down on the markers, but third down on the scoreboard. And he's saying it's only third down. Now, wait a minute. Let's count them off.
You had a sack.
And then he spiked one into the ground.
Spiked the ball.
But wait a minute. It should only be third down. Wycheck got the first down. Then the sack. Then he dumped one into the ground. And that would be third down, which is very, very important here as to what down it is, even though there are only 22 seconds left. Because if it's fourth down, they've got to get a first down. I saw this happen one time in a game between the Bengals and the Cleveland Browns, and they actually had to go get photographs, Polaroids of the plays, to mark them off and make sure they had the right down.
It's not like baseball where the umpire has that little clicker where he's counting balls and strikes. There's a lot of confusion going on, and if you can imagine, everyone on the Ravens sideline is arguing for fourth down, where everyone on the Tennessee sideline is arguing for third down, and we have the correction. It is third down, and you see Marshall Brodow trying to guess a fourth down.
I think the call third down is correct. What an end to the Memorial Stadium days.
But going back in this drive, Steve McNair still committed the most grievous error in, I'll say, allowing himself to be sacked. A guy that mobile, you really have to understand the situation. You're much better off throwing the ball away than trying to hold it, waiting for something to happen.
Now they've come over, and Bob McElwee is talking, I'm sure, with the NFL communicator here, the officials communicator, as to what's going on down as far as the down situation is. They had fourth down up.
With all this time that they're spending trying to figure out what down it is, if I were the Oilers, I would have changed my offensive set. You've lined up the three wide receivers to the left side. You've given the Ravens players ample opportunity to talk about how they want to defend it. You've had time to huddle up, to talk to Les Steckel upstairs, to come up with something different. You've seen how they're aligning. It's similar to what NBA teams do when they call a timeout in the last couple of seconds. They want to see how they're going to defend the inbound pass. That's the same way in this situation. You have to come up with something a little more creative.
On this drive, here's the way we've charted it, James. On this drive, Wycheck caught a 6-yard pass. He got out of bounds. Mason caught a 9-yard pass. Got a first down.
First down.
There was a sack then that they lost 6 yards on, and then they came up to the line of scrimmage, and McNair threw one into the ground, stopping the clock with 22 seconds left. That would make it third down. And that's where we are.
And I don't know why they just don't tap into our telecast and figure out what down it is.
I've never figured that out through the many years. It is official, third down.
And you know, I stated it once. You need to come up with something different than what you've shown while you've been standing around for the last 3.5 minutes waiting for whether or not you're going to find out if it's third down or fourth down. Yeah, they trot the 3 wide receivers out to that one side.
They are snapping from their own 47-yard line. On 3rd and 16, McNair. He's got his man. It's Mason. He steps out at the Raven 39-yard line with 16 seconds remaining in the game. But they are still short of a first down.
And you would have to line Del Greco up for a 56, 57-yard field goal attempt if you were to go for it on fourth down here.
And they are going for it on fourth down. Fourth down and a little bit more than 2. So make it 4th and 3. 16 seconds left.
You have time to throw the ball over the middle, to get on the ball, and to spike it.
Incomplete to Wycheck. And the ball goes back over to the Ravens.
Incredible that they would try and throw the ball to the outside. You have the whole middle of the field to work with. That's the most vulnerable area of any defense. This huge area in the middle of the field is where you would like to work. The Oilers decide to go outside, and you see the defenders converging on Wycheck.
Nice play by Williams out there to come up with that play. 12 seconds remaining. Memorial Stadium had so many Colts great victories.
And I think you send in Johnny Unitas here to take the knee.
So many great Colts victories, but it will close its doors with a Ravens victory. And it is over. The Ravens have won it here this afternoon as they defeat the Tennessee Oilers 21-19. Now make sure you stay tuned for the final day of the EMC Skills Challenge as John Daly, Peter Jacobson, and Chichi Rodriguez will show off all their great shot-making skills in a variety of situations. The EMC Skills Challenge is coming up next here on NBC. The Baltimore Ravens have closed out Memorial Stadium's history for NFL football with a win over the Tennessee Oilers, 21-19, as they hang on in the closing seconds to win it. And up their record to 6-8-1. For James Lofton, I'm Jim Donovan. So long from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. You've been watching the NFL on NBC, network of the Super Bowl.
On a special Holiday News Radio, Matthew's friends will do anything to get him the best Christmas present ever, his job back.
We have to do it, you guys. We have to do it for Nancy.
All new NBC Tuesday.